Welcome everyone to the Town of Norfolk Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, April 9th at 7 p.m. We are all here at Town Hall Room 124. Members of the public are welcome to attend the in-person meeting here this evening, or you can attend remote via Zoom. Please note that the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technical problems interrupt the remote connection. The Zoom link and the call-in number for Zoom were previously posted on the town's website. Alternate to Zoom will be the NCTV live stream on their YouTube channel. Again, the link for that is also posted on
Recording
the
in
town's
progress.
page. Do I need to start over?
No, it's
okay.
No, it's on there, but I'm just
All right.
belt and suspenders.
Okay. So that's enough of the administrative talk. We will go into our first public hearing at 7 p.m. for 4 David Road, which was continued from February 13th, 2024.
Yes. And the applicant has requested a continuance to May 14th meeting. The issue that they're bumping up against is there is no water on David Road and then circling around Sherwood Drive. And because of that, citing the stormwater system, the septic system, and their well, a new well for the site, there's just all the setbacks they're bumping up against being able to do that. So they need to explore extension of public water down there in order to make the site work. So I think they're in, I know DPW director's here, but I think they're going to be reaching out to DPW on that point to see if there could be a solution to the issue. So for the moment, we're in a holding pattern until they can have that conversation and then come back. Hopefully make progress for the May 14th meeting.
Okay. So the question I have is more administrative, not specific about.
I give you a lot more detail than you, I suppose, right?
Right.
Administratively is just to make a motion to continue to 7 p.m.
But before we do that, I have a question, administrative question.
Okay.
What is the current, I guess, deadline to approve or deny this site plan approval?
So we are okay in terms of, because the way our bylaw is structured, it's the close of the public hearing is the time to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not on a time frame in that sense.
Okay.
However, election coming up, and you're running for the select board, and there's a possibility that if you get elected, then there'll be one less member. Now, everybody has sat on it, so it still can proceed, even if you're not on the board any longer, if you were to get elected. So it just needed an unanimous vote. So there's enough safeguard. And even though we have an associate member now, they're not able to vote on the site plan approval. So
Right.
So it wouldn't bump it up to 5. But.
Okay. That's what I wanted to understand administratively, was moving forward. If we keep pushing this down the road, what kind of deadlines do we have?
Yeah.
Okay.
And since I kind of gave you more detail on than you wanted,
So when they
I guess it's a 705, so you got the next one. It's the same. That one's going to be similar. They've requested a continuance as well.
for the 720 and the 740.
Nope, 705. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's no 7.
So I'm looking ahead. My bad. Yeah, 720. So
Yeah.
all right, you have to wait. My
Right.
apologies.
So administratively, we don't necessarily have a deadline on this. Did they give they asked to continue
Yes.
for 1 month?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So can I get a motion to continue the public hearing for 7 David Road site plan approval, stormwater management permit and special permit to our May 14th meeting at 7 p.m.?
So moved.
Okay, we have?
For a motion to correct it to 4 David Road, not 7 David
Oh,
Road.
thank you. Do you?
God, we love you. Yes, so moved.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
So that has been
Motion carries.
carried unanimously, and we will see them at our next meeting. So we have roughly 15 minutes till our next public hearing.
Yep.
I know it's going to be continued, but we got to wait till 7:20 to do that.
Correct, yes.
So
When we get to that one, Betsy suggested 7:05, just so when we get there, I'll just remind you, but get them a little tighter.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to?
No, you
approve?
can't yet, sorry.
Something else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Something else.
You're jumping down to new business, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 12th as printed.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So that carries unanimously.
So what I would ask, respectfully ask, is to have under the town meeting preparation agenda item, under new business,
Yep.
a recap of the advisory board meeting from last Wednesday evening, April 3rd. And at that meeting, the zoning was reviewed in terms of the inclusionary bylaw, the proposed MBTA district bylaw, and then also the schedule use. Now, schedule use, you'll talk a little bit later, you got a public hearing, so we'll hold off on that. But I do have town council, who's joining us via Zoom this evening to talk a little bit about the advisory board and what I would like to discuss with the planning board as a alternate approach, if you will, regarding regarding both bylaws. I'll say this, and I know you were there, Chad and Gary, and if you didn't watch it from last week, there was some reluctance in terms of revising the inclusionary bylaw from what it currently is as the scaled up back to 10% townwide. I think the sense was I think they understood in terms of the MBTA zoning, the guidelines have a 10 or more, no rounding and so forth. But they did hear from a resident who suggested that, there can be an economic feasibility analysis done for a greater percent in terms of affordable housing. If you know, we talked about previously that we've seen, and now we will see soon, kind of that second effect of that previous bylaw. We're now going to be entertaining a 40B that potentially could have been an open space subdivision off of Lawrence Street, as opposed to now coming as a 40B. And there are some other properties that, as you know, we talked about that are considering 40B route as opposed to doing traditional zoning, traditional projects under a zoning. Because of that, in terms of a little bit of up in the air opinion about that change, whether it's good change or not, because the other change was made in 21, it hasn't really been that long. We need to take action on the MBTA zoning, and we need to take action on the inclusionary bylaw. So a proposed alternate strategy is to essentially table the inclusionary bylaw for the May town meeting, but modify the MBTA zoning bylaw to have a provision for affordable housing that would comply with housing choice guidelines. And to that end, town council has drafted some language for consideration to do that. And I'll share it in a second on the screen and we can take a look at it. I'm sure there's a lot of questions, so I just wanted to kind of set the stage in terms of there are a few other recommended changes to the MBTA zoning after taking another look at it. So there are some minor changes on that, but and we have those as well. So I just I'll pull those in and display them so you can take a look at them.
So for the inclusionary piece, though, there's
is there not value in potentially still pursuing that to try to get some of these developments to steer towards more town-friendly approaches to development, or is that a weak value proposition?
I think so in terms of the other ones, two of them are in the MBTA zoning overlay district in the
Yep.
Palmville area. So if perchance, if the MBTA zoning passes and then they're in the district, so it would help those two sites in the Palmville area. The third one in the Palmville area is, it would not help. Well, one, it's not in the district, but they're also on a 40B track, and I don't see that shifting based on what I've been hearing from them, previous conversations. The one off of, between Kern Meadow Road and Eagle Drive, they have their project eligibility letter, and I'm expecting them to file that as is. They weren't really they didn't say, yeah, we will definitely change it back. Yeah, there's always a chance, but I suppose, but they've got their eligibility letter in hand, and they can go forward the way they are, so I'm not too hopeful on that one. So in terms of having to maybe impact immediately, we can at least affect two of them potentially with the MBTA zoning to steer them in a different direction.
So, my takeaway from the advisory was that, it's like, first of all, they didn't vote on anything. They haven't voted. I think they were going to start voting this week on the articles. They have not voted. They were just hearing the information. And the takeaway I got was, like, hey, be a little careful about having both of those on the warrant. It's going to be a long meeting, a lot of budget stuff.
We get that every time.
I know, but it is going to be a big warrant. And so it's like, they're very concerned that the inclusionary being first may not pass, and then that might trickle down into the MBTA. So my takeaway is, like, let's just focus on the MBTA, make that and modify it so it can stand on its own two legs, because right now it kind of can't because it's referencing the inclusionary.
Yeah.
And pause, pull the inclusionary bylaw, put that on pause, put in a little bit more work, make sure that we talked about maybe making some incentives for these different housing types that we want to encourage in our town, and also make sure it's in alignment with our master plan that's not done yet.
Right.
So,
And I like that piece. I just want to make sure we're not throwing stuff out the window or,
Right.
Potential value out the window by just discarding it.
it's more just, hey, let's pause and put a little more work in it. We've done that before on other articles. So it's like one of those where, hey, now that we're getting really close to the finish line, it doesn't make, in my opinion, I think we need to pull it back and retract it and really focus on the MBTA one, because that's one that does have a deadline with really very little impact. We did a really good job of creating the overlay districts that are minimal impact to the town, so, which is good.
Very little impact unless it doesn't pass, and then we lose all the state funding and get sued.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's just my opinion. I mean, you guys can make your own opinion. But that's just my thought as a takeaway from that meeting.
Well,
I do want to let you know that it would be a 2/3 vote to change the inclusionary bylaw, so I did send it from the advisory, I sent it to the AG's office, and the AG has commented back to us, and on that point, it would be a 2/3, where the MBTA zoning is a majority vote, just in terms of discussion point.
That's a really good point, yeah.
There is confusion between, I think it could cause confusion. There's confusion about the MBTA law, I guess what it is now. But there is confusion about that. I've seen, even in the Sun Chronicle, residents from the area saying that they believe it's an affordable housing move, that's what MBTA housing is, and it's not. There's actually no required affordability for it. It's just to create diverse housing. So Gary and I met with Rich to go through, and we're going to do a video that we can put out to the public to let them know kind of the highlights of what it really is without going through all of our meetings for the past few years. Just kind of the highlights and some frequently asked questions. And we're going to do that right before town meeting, right? So,
The week before? I think.
yeah, so I don't know that there would really be enough time for folks to, I mean, hopefully they see it before the meeting, that's the intent, but I wouldn't want MBTA to not get passed because they get confused as one relating to the other when one doesn't have anything to do with affordability.
I think that's what we saw on advisory board last Wednesday. You know, confusion was there, can be explained away, but it took a good chunk of time, you know, for people that are actually in tune with this sort of thing and usually grasp it pretty quickly. So it was good to watch because it's you know, it's learnings. I just, you know, if I have a concern, you know, Chad, I'm willing to completely agree with your position here. You know, the only concern I would have is that we're losing out on potential value add and disregarding the inclusionary. But if it's not, you know, if it's not likely to sway Cranberry Meadows, et cetera, then sure, let's do some more work on it.
And two more would already be in the MBTA district if it passes, right? So
Yeah, the other two, yes, they're in the
I
district.
guess it's pretty low risk for things that are on the table now. The economic feasibility, I'm curious what exactly goes into that, because so the financial feasibility to figure out the inclusionary bylaw, it's pretty simple to put a spreadsheet together, and I have one that I can share with you guys that very clearly shows that the higher the tier goes up, the developer's profit plummets. Completely plummets, straight line down. So what I don't have is 40B, how 40B compares to that, because I haven't had time yet to meet with a developer and get their financials to compare the two. But I could have a complete package ready, and then maybe if we could just, I don't know if we need to have it verified by a third party, but if it's just a numbers model, it's just, average price of a townhouse, and then how it works with the percentage for each tier for the profitability for a developer and how that would push them to a 40B. So I have the financial, it took maybe a half hour for me to put that together, so I don't know if we really want to pay for an economic feasibility if it's not much more than that, because we're going to pay a lot of money for a very simple spreadsheet.
So, I am a bureaucrat, so I get it, but I can pick on other bureaucrats. In bureaucratic fashion, it's not simple, and it's not, in fact, they've put together a whole guidance on what is the inputs into an economic feasibility analysis. In addition to that, it needs to be done by a third party. It can't be from the town.
Okay.
So while your information it's valuable for this purpose, it wouldn't, because they have specific criteria that you have to do the feasibility analysis on. And again, you have to pay a third party to do that. I will say though, there are communities right now that have economic feasibility analysis under review with housing livable communities. So I think within the next month or two, they haven't put them out yet, but I've asked the other day and they're coming.
Okay.
So we will see something we could look at in terms of like what's the input into them and kind of get some general knowledge on them. The only one I've seen out there so far is the City of Salem, which is not remotely
Doesn't compare.
in the same
Yeah.
ballpark as Norfolk, right? So that one's really not gonna, so they are coming out, so we can look at those two. But you only need the economic feasibility analysis is only if you choose to go beyond their guidance. So, and then maybe that might be a choice down the road, but for right now, the sense was to just make this adjustment so we could continue forward.
Do we need to be looking for firms to put proposals together for that?
There are firms, well, first we'd have to decide if we want to do that. So that'd be,
We'd have to decide to put this on pause and then decide if we want to move forward with
economic feasibility analysis?
Study,
Yeah.
Was that the recommendation from advisory to
They didn't come
continue
out.
to pursue that?
They didn't,
I said they'd like to
What's
see
the
it.
They would like to,
waiting
they
and-
would
They
like.
haven't
to-
voted on anything yet.
They
so
didn't
it's not-
vote on anything, so it was just, that would be, it was kind of a nice thing to have. It wasn't,
Yeah, it wouldn't impact their vote, I don't think, well, yeah,
be a nice thing to have, but, yeah.
right.
Are many towns choosing not to do that analysis and just go with the recommendation, or?
I don't know, Tom might weigh in a little bit. From what I've heard, the towns they may have a different standard town-wise, but they're choosing to just comply with the guidelines under the district, but he might have more info from what he's hearing out there.
Yeah, I think it's all over the board, and good evening, everybody, Tom Harrington, Town Council. I think it's all over the board. I know a few of my towns are going through that process now, and a few others are going to hold it the 10%, so they don't need to do it.
Okay. But I think the question really for tonight is, do we want to move,
Pivot.
do we want to, pivot and withdraw the inclusionary bylaw article? And at the same time, then amend the MBTA article. Because we can't do the feasibility study between now and town meeting and
No,
get
it's not
advisory
feasible.
involved. That's just not, the timeframe's not feasible. So, I mean,
So we'd punt on this, on inclusionary. We would edit, make an amendment to edit what we have that was supposed to go into the warrant for MBTA.
right,
Go do a feasibility study and then further talk about potential enhancements to the inclusionary bylaw. Hopefully have data backing from the feasibility study, or we just make edits to inclusionary for next town meeting with or without the, like, how exactly does the study affect?
So in terms of so I'll circle back to I'll circle back to housing production plan. One of the recommendations, actually two housing production plans now, recommended looking at the inclusionary bylaw
Yep.
to create incentives
Okay, yeah.
to create additional affordable housing through the bylaw. Not the present framework is whereby I will call, it takes away density to create affordable housing, which has an effect to what degree, or we'll debate, we don't have that economic feasibility analysis, but it has an economic effect. Their recommendation was look at it, incentivize it. So that may be the approach we take. So there's a little bit of work to do, so I'm not suggesting that we're coming in November with a change to the inclusionary necessarily, but that we're sticking to the path in terms of looking at that inclusionary bylaw and maybe make some adjustments.
I mean, I'm okay with punting on it, or but I still think, in my opinion, but I still think it's in the town's best interest to address issues with inclusionary numbers. They're just clearly detrimental at this point.
And just because, based on the timeline that you're now proposing, that means we're not coming back to this for another year to town meeting, and then we're going to have the same discussion with advisory board about agenda and. Well,
So-
no, because he said November,
Said no,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we do have to push on this for the fall.
and
Yeah.
he's saying he doesn't think it's possible.
No, I like to,
Over-promise, under-promise, over-deliver?
yeah, under promise, over deliver. Exactly.
Rich loves the sizzle.
I think
No, because we've had,
moving forward for
Yeah.
fall. It's just, I'm just looking at it as, hey, let's pick our battles here. I think we all want this MBTA to pass, with a few modifications. I think it's the right thing to do, just because we do have a deadline. We don't want to potentially lose funding. Whereas the inclusionary is important, but I think it could wait.
So the inclusionary could impact development, but it's most likely going to be residential, right? I mean,
Can't we do it as a friendly amendment if we have success with the MBTA?
Oh, you mean pull it at the meeting?
Yeah.
But it would be
goes
reversed.
first.
Yeah.
It goes, it's on the.
Well,
it's-
can we make the amendments that we need to on the MBTA that goes through and?
But the MBTA is reliant on.
On the- yeah.
the MBTA.
I also just don't want, because it's very confusing. Like, they are right now they're intertwined, and I want to break that. I think it's important to break that so they're not intertwined anymore. And then it's just it's going to be confusing at times. I mean, it's hard for us to wrap our heads around. And imagine not being in all these meetings and getting all this backup data that we've gotten.
Plus, Mr. Diamond's going to have his own data, and he's going to be trying to keep the inclusionary.
But he didn't actually have much data that actually proved the point that we should keep the inclusionary. I think, so I guess what I'm wondering is there's inclusionary with MBTA, right? And we need a third party for that one. But we don't need a third party to go in with our own data as planning board members that have been vetted by developers that have been, you can verify the information online and put a spreadsheet together like I did, and then that doesn't necessarily need an economic feasibility study. It shows a picture as soon as you look at it. I just wouldn't want to have to wait on that one. MBTA, it's already going, believe, Mr. Harrington, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it says you can go up to 10%, or that the 10% is the, for the affordable. It's not required, right? But you can go up to 10% if your town has an affordable requirement.
Or even not, right? So you don't have to have an affordability requirement. If you do and you limit it to 10%, then you don't need to do an economic analysis. If you go above the 10%, you have to do an economic analysis.
So the economic analysis is really tied to the MBTA. So we could bring the inclusionary in the fall as the planning board members with our own data, put it in front of the town, and they're going to see what we saw, which is, we're motivating the behavior that folks don't want, which is 40Bs.
And it buys us time to look at, things like incentive-based, things. So, okay.
But
I can get behind that.
Keeps the 10% requirement in the MBTA thing, but it won't necessarily be updated if you update the full inclusionary bylaw.
So the way that it's written, or the way that I believe it would be written, is that we would just refer back to the affordable percentage would be what is in the actual law, which is what we were just talking about, that you can go up to 10%. And then if we, as a town, decided that we were going to step that back and go back to 10%, then this one isn't impacted at all. The MBTA one.
We want to make it so the MBTA one is
Standalone.
it's standalone, its own overlay district with
That
its
make
own
sense?
standalone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Rich,
And that
you've
could
got-
be modified whenever we get if we choose to go forward with the financial feasibility analysis, then you could go back and modify that 10% number if.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
Or
In
if
terms
we
of the
wanted
MBTA,
to.
yeah, and the MBTA.
We wouldn't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
We could do our own because it's the third.
So if you want to go back
It's not
to,
submittable that way.
right, so if you want to go,
Right.
if you want to go above the guidance for the MBTA zoning,
Yep.
what I would do is I would ask them about, like, what kind of, I'm presuming they're going to want an economic feasibility analysis to go beyond what their guidance is.
Mr. Harrington.
Tom's got a.
I didn't mean to cut anyone off.
No.
I just wanted to, so I just wanted to offer the idea that if this is useful, you could keep the MBTA as a standalone as is, so that's limited to 10%, and then anything that's not in the MBTA district, you could adjust to anything you want from 10 to 20 and anywhere in between without having to do an economic feasibility analysis.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe better.
Yep.
Tom, could you speak to how we're able to do this piece of this? Because we know, we talked about that a little bit this morning because, the board's already had a hearing and made a recommendation and so forth, so.
Right, so I sent to Rich earlier today and some edits to this. Some of them are based upon the Attorney General's pre-review And so she had some ideas, and we certainly wanted to incorporate her ideas. I don't think it changes anything. She thought we should call out the idea that we're amending the zoning map as well, more specifically, so we put a little language in for that. There was a few cleanups we did, and then we incorporated a kind of an affordable housing component right into the bylaw. So I think the question is, how can we do this? So I think we're going to want to check with the moderator, but as long as the amendments are within the four corners of the warrant, we can certainly make them at town meeting. And in my opinion, the same rules apply to your hearing. You hold a hearing on the version of the bylaw that's available at the time of the hearing, which is what you did. We can certainly amend that. Either the planning board can offer the amendment or someone else can offer the amendment, and as long as it's within the four corners, we don't run afoul of any laws. But I think it will be important to run it by the moderator, just to make sure he agrees that adding in the affordable housing component directly into the MBTA bylaw is within the four corners.
Okay. So Rich, you have those modifications on the screen?
Yeah. So in terms of there was one recommendation from the AG on the inclusionary bylaw, Tom, that's on page 3. I mean, if we're not, I mean, that changes.
Yeah, I wasn't really focusing on that.
No, I
as
know.
much.
I just let them know. So,
Do we have a copy of that in here, Rich?
it's in the G drive. I don't have it. I didn't print it, but.
Okay.
And then, so I'll just go down. So this, Tom, I have the to see if the town will vote language that you,
Yeah. Article XX?
yes.
Yep.
You want to talk through it as I,
Sure, happy to. So you'll see little cleanups, like, putting the two before the sections just to make it grammatically smoother.
Yep.
And then the second part is just calling out in a more specific fashion, as per the AG's comments, that we're also amending the zoning map to include the multifamily high-density Town Hill overlay district. And the multifamily high-density Pondville overlay district, both as shown on the zoning map, which is all already part of the bylaw, but, so that just calls that part out more specifically. And then, Rich, you want to scroll down to section C? So this is just, I've had a number of conversations with Margaret Hurley about this. So some of the comments come through from conversations I've had with her, and some of them come from her review of this. But just in talking, what said permitted use, it's an as-of-right bylaw, and that's their terminology. And so this was just changing permitted use to permitted as of right, so we're using their terminology. Jumping down to D, we already defined the THP MOD. And so we thought it was superfluous.
I'm going to email it
to-
to everybody. Chris, all right? Sorry.
I'm reading it.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry, D1. Yeah, so we took out the descriptors of the B1 and the C1D off-highway because we didn't need them, because we've described them before, so just a little tighter. And then G is where the, kind of the rubber meets the road here, and so this is the affordable housing component. And I will say it's, it comes pretty close to tracking the state model, so we have a high level of comfort that they're going to be comfortable with it. And I'm not going to take you through each one. I guess I think it would be better if you took a look at it, and I'd be happy to answer questions, but it's pretty standard stuff and does come pretty close to the state model. And I think those are the only changes we made, Rich.
Yep.
that looks good to me. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we would suggest these changes as a friendly amendment?
Yeah, so, yes.
Okay.
So, Tom, it would be, I guess the planning board supports this, they would vote these changes and then go on to the warrant?
Yeah, we can actually, if we put them on the warrant, now I'm pausing because it's fine if we print what was the original warrant article, and then make the motion at town meeting. If we change the warrant, and we do have the opportunity to change the warrant, I'm wondering if we need to redo the hearing. So I guess I don't have an answer to that one tonight, but I can get an answer in the morning. So I think you can either do it as an amendment at town meeting, or you can possibly do it as the warrant article, but I'd want to double check to make sure that that it would line up with the hearing you held.
So if we have to do a public hearing, it'd have to be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid having you do another public hearing, unless you don't mind doing another public hearing.
We love these.
I would prefer not to do another public hearing.
If that's smoother.
But Eric said I think it would be, I think in the long run, it'd probably be best to do a public hearing if needed, just because that way it does get printed. But the problem is we can't have a public hearing before it's going to get printed. So is that a moot point?
No, so I have a what-if scenario, Tom.
Yeah.
Can this be replaced, so to speak, in the warrant?
We can absolutely put this version into the warrant.
And then the board
And
would
then the
hold
question, so let's do kind of a,
Chicken egg.
so if we put this version in the warrant,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, fix it.
either the hearing you already held is sufficient and you don't need to hold another hearing, or you do need to hold another hearing, which you would hold in 2 weeks. And the answer to that second part, I don't have for you, but I'll get you tomorrow.
Okay.
I think it would be better to have the accurate information out to folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that if we do it at the town meeting as a friendly amendment, and then we're following up with more afterwards in fall, people are going to think that we're trying to sneak something in under the rug.
Yep.
I think the more visible and transactional we can make this, the better for everybody who is following along.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah.
Justin's raising his hand.
We do have a hand raised. Justin?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. How you guys doing?
Good.
Follow yourself.
Justin?
I'm well, thank you. Just a quick question, I guess, for Tom as well. Tom, if we go that route, and if it is including the warrant, I don't know if we talked about the other inclusionary bylaw, but does the select board have to do anything with that as well?
So it sounds like, I don't mean to be putting words in anyone's mouth, but if I'm reading the room right, there's a desire to use this version of the MBTA bylaw as opposed to the current version, so new version over current version. And I'm also sensing that there's a desire to withdraw the affordable housing bylaw entirely. And so if, in that case, I think you would need another vote of the select board to amend their vote to add this new version and to remove the affordable housing.
Okay, yeah, I'm worrying about that logistics aspect of it. So I think we should talk with the board and try to get something sooner than later then, if that's what the planning board decides to do tonight. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when's the next time select board meets?
The 23rd?
23rd.
I would speak with the board about seeing if we could have a special meeting. The 23rd is too late. The printer actually asked for a version of the warrant the 18th, which we're probably not going to be able to do, but I think waiting to the 23rd is too late. So I'll work tomorrow to reach out to the board and see if we can get a special meeting.
And
You know,
Okay, thanks, Justin.
you're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
And advisory's meeting tomorrow? Is that, so?
Wednesday, right? Every Wednesday.
Yeah, so advisory's meeting tomorrow, and this may, I don't know if they'll make it to this article to vote on tomorrow, but we should, if we agree to change it, we should get it in their hands then first thing in the morning, so they've got it. Obviously, Select hasn't, the process is it should go to Select, they approve it, it goes to advisory, but we could still, we send it to both at the same time.
Yeah. And this is all pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It is.
The changes make sense.
Justin, you still had your hand up. Do you have something else, or was that from previous? Oh, thank you.
Sorry,
No
I
problem.
neglected to take it down. Thank you.
No problem.
Rich, is there any map update, or the map hasn't been touched?
No changes to the map.
Any other discussion, or are we ready to move forward with this?
I think we're ready.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion that we amend the MBTA bylaw as shown, with, I guess, two options that we're waiting on town council for, is that we may have to have a public hearing, or we may not have to have a public hearing before town meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? So it's unanimous. Okay, then I'd like to also entertain a second motion to withdraw the inclusionary bylaw.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So it carries unanimously. So that's our game plan.
Okay.
Okay, so now we got to get back to our public hearing, 7:20.
And then,
I'm going to excuse myself.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Tom.
well, the good news is you could take that one in 7:40, one right after the other. and then
Exactly,
Get to
yeah.
the,
That was by design.
So we have, we're a little past our 7:20, so we have a 7:20 public hearing of 9 Lot 20 Shower Drive, site plan application, stormwater management permit, earth removal permit, and special permit to allow outdoor storage greater than 1,000 square feet, proposed construction of 11,900 square feet, contractor's headquarters building, which was continued from March 12th, 2024. And it's my understanding that they have submitted a request to continue until the May, is that
correct.
correct?
Yes,
1 month? Okay.
1 month. So Betsy had proposed a 7:05 for this one.
Okay. Does anybody have any administrative discussion on it before because we can't really talk about it, but the specifics.
yeah, it's just-
Okay. So I'd like to entertain a motion to continue 9 Lot 20 Shire Drive until the May 14th meeting at 7:05 PM.
Moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So that carries unanimously.
Thank you.
So now we have the 7:40 public hearing, 11 Lot 19 Shire Drive, site plan application, stormwater management permit, and earth removal permit for proposed construction of 7,500 square feet contractor's headquarters building, which was continued from March 12th, 2024. And it's my understanding that they have also requested to continue for 1
Same.
month.
Yes.
Any administrative discussion before we, okay? All right, so is Betsy's recommendation also to make that 5 minutes later?
7:10, yes.
All right, just checking. All right, so I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the 11 Lot 19 Shire Drive public hearing until the March 14th, 2024 meeting at 7:10 PM.
May 14th.
All right, let me start over. So I'd like to entertain a motion for 11 Lot 19 Shire Drive public hearing to continue that until our May 14th, 2024 meeting at 7:10 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, that carries unanimously. So we are now at 7:45, public hearing for 17 Fruit Street. Mr. Eric, why don't you read that in?
Notice is hereby given that the planning board and tree warden will hold a consolidated public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 15C, Scenic Roads Act, and Chapter 87, Section 3, in Room 124, Norfolk Town Hall, on Tuesday, April 9th at 7:45 PM. To consider the application of Christopher McCready for the removal of one 19-inch maple, the removal and reconstruction of 100 foot of stone wall located within the right-of-way for the installation of a driveway, regrading of the front yard for proposed new house at 17 Fruit Street. Reference Assessors Map 23, Block 54, Lot 149. Information pertaining to the trees, stone wall, and location of the subject of this application is available for public inspection at the Planning Board office in Town Hall between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
Thank you, Eric. So, tree warden,
Yes, sir.
go.
So, obviously, as you can see, the tree in question has been posted. I did go out and take a look at it. It is clearly inside the stone wall there, or into the stone wall, as you can see from the photo. The tree looks to be relatively healthy. I would assess it as a moderate risk tree, given its size and where it's growing. But at this time, I have no objection to the removal of the tree, although I would recommend that the stone wall remain intact if possible.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, may I speak? I'm the
Yep.
engineer who
Absolutely.
drew the plan. So my name is John Glosser. It's Glosser Engineering, 46 East Street in East Walpole. And I've been working on this project for a number of years. It was held up a little bit. Can you still hear me and see me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It was held up a little bit because of some issue with taxes. Had nothing to do with the current owner of the property, Christopher McCready. But you can see he's on the Zoom call here, and his father, Dave McCready. I've been working with Dave probably 25, 30 years. Dave's an experienced builder. And once his son bought this lot and we took a closer look at how we had originally graded the lot, we found that it was going to require the removal of the tree that the tree warden pointed out to you, and about 100 feet of stone wall to simply make the lot safer, because the lot jumps up very quickly from the street. It jumps up about 6 or 8 feet between the edge of pavement and the actual wall. And the way to make this lot sort of safe for people who are driving in and out of the driveway, the proposed driveway, is to lower that grade down about 4 or 5 feet. All of that material will be used on the site around the house and the septic system. But when I inquired to your town planner, Rich McCarthy, if there were scenic roads in Norfolk, I found out that just about every road is a scenic road. I didn't really know that. I've done a lot of work in Norfolk, and that was the first time that I was made aware of that. Not that, I've ever violated that, because we've never really gotten to that point. But so, I asked Rich what we do. We file with the planning board for a scenic road hearing. And so what we're asking to do is to take down the tree and then to remove the stones out of the wall, place them off to the side, and as I said, we're going to lower that grade by about 4 feet or so, and then put the stones back. We've located those stones about every 20 feet. Those stones actually act as the demarcation, the property line between the town's ownership and the private ownership of the McCready's. So it's important that those stones go back in the same location where they are now. So that's what the proposal is. It'll make for a much nicer and safer lot. And I believe that there really is no sort of detriment to the town as a whole if the planning board allows this to happen. So I guess maybe I should have explained exactly where it is, but it's the corner of Fruit and Cleveland Street. So if you were heading from Seekonk Street towards Cleveland, it's the very last vacant lot or the last piece of property on the left as you're heading towards Cleveland Street along Fruit Street. So that's the proposal. Take down the tree. My client would be willing to add trees if that's what the planning, to replicate for that if that's what the planning board would like to see. But we need to, it would be nice to take down 100 feet of the wall, regrade that area, and then put the wall in. I think it's in everyone's best interest. So if you have any questions, Mr. Chairman, that you think I can answer, I'd be happy to answer them.
Graham, thank you very much for that explanation. Blair, when you spoke, you primarily spoke about the tree. Do you have any
Correct.
concerns about the wall?
To be honest with you, when I went out to post the posting on that tree itself, I did have to climb that embankment. It is steep. I have no objection with the plan to drop that as long as the wall goes back, because as he mentioned, it is the point where the right-of-way ends, so that's important. But it is very steep there. It would help for snow removal if we ever get any. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But I have absolutely no objection with that plan.
Okay.
From the tree warden and DPW side of things.
Double it.
Right.
Thank you. Board members?
Now we're going to restate this, stone wall back to its original glory, is my understanding. Same type of, I'm just joking. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
No, well, we're gonna save those stones. We're not just gonna bury those or throw them away. We're gonna pile those stones, and like I said, when they are ready, they'll call us. As I said, we knew about this, since Rich McCarthy explained this to me. So I had my surveyors locate that wall no more than every 20 feet. So we know that wall is going, and there's other monuments, or there's other things we have out there, but we know that wall, we're going to put that wall right back in the same location where it is now, because it's important not only for the town, but for the McCready's to make sure that the wall's in the right place, because that's what demarcates the two owners, the town and the private owner McCready.
Awesome.
Okay. Any other comments from any of the board members? No, I see none. Okay.
Is the recommendation to add more trees elsewhere, or are we just, it's one
In this
tree, so-
particular location, it's right at the apex of the hill. As you can kind of see, it drops off on both sides from the photo there. At this point, if down the line we wanted to discuss planting more trees, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that, but I think at this point, it's best to take a look and see what the new grades look like and sight lines there, depending on exactly where the driveway is going to be. I certainly wouldn't want to put trees up against the road, being on the top of the hill right there with the individuals trying to get in and out of their driveway. So down the road, if we wanted to sit down with the McCready's and talk about planting some more trees, certainly happy to have that discussion. But at this point, I would recommend holding off on that.
Okay. So we have a draft decision that Rich prepared for us.
We need to close it first.
Yeah. So any other comments before we close the public hearing and talk about, okay.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Hold on one second. Any other comments from anybody on Zoom or in the room? Okay, now, go.
Make a motion to close the public hearing for Scenic Road and Shade Tree at 17 Fruit Street.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So it passes unanimously. Okay. So public hearing is closed. We do have a decision in front of us for 17 Fruit Street. It's pretty standard. Conditions, number 7, conditions are, again, also fairly standard. Tree warden shall oversee the removal. Norfolk, it talks about dig safe, Scenic Roads Act, and the Norfolk Police Department is to be notified for potential detail and signage requirements. All costs to be incurred and borne by the applicant. And that's about it.
Is bullet point number 5 okay with the way it's worded? I understand, Mr. Crane, you've got 2 titles officially.
Yes.
But do we need to state that you're here as the tree warden and not necessarily the director of public works?
Well, but he is,
He's both, right? So it doesn't matter?
No.
no, I don't.
Okay.
It's the-
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, then I'm fine.
Any other questions on the decision? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the decision for tree cutting and stone wall alteration, Scenic Roads Act, Shade Tree, 17 Fruit Street as printed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you. Thanks, Rich.
Welcome.
Okay, we have a 7:50 public hearing of 113 North Street, Scenic Roads Act, Shade Tree hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the planning board and the tree warden will hold a consolidated public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 15C, Scenic Roads Act, and Chapter 87, Section 3, in Room 124, Norfolk Town Hall, on Tuesday, April 9th, at 7:50 PM. To consider the application of Michael and Lisa Regan for the removal of 3 trees and removal of 40-foot section stone wall within the right-of-way for the installation of a private roadway as per the approved subdivision plan at 113 North Street. Reference Assessors Map 20, Block 71, Lot 22. Information pertaining to the trees, stone wall, and location of the subject of this application is available for public inspection at Planning Board Office in Norfolk Town Hall during the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Public hearing is open. Pass it over to our illustrious tree warden and
sir.
DPW director.
Yes. Man of many hats. Similar to the previous hearing, there was a petition here for the removal of 8 trees. I believe this to be the entrance to subdivision or project that's going to happen in here. Most of the trees behind those trees, as you can see there, a lot of them have been removed that are outside of the right-of-way. So these 3 trees are technically within the right-of-way, but in order for the project to move forward, they will need to be removed. They are moderate health, so at this time, I really don't see any reason why they can't be removed.
And there's also 40 feet of stone wall there.
Yes.
Okay.
This is for a driveway or something?
Private
That-
way.
Yeah,
That's fine.
it's a private.
Private. Yeah, I think
Entity.
Melissa said it right. Private way. It's a 3-house
Say it's
private subdivision. Yeah.
Ox pasture.
Yes.
Pasture, yeah.
Okay. So do we have anybody here? Yes. Would you like to grab a microphone and?
Or you can sit down at that
Or,
table.
yeah, maybe that's easier, yeah. So just state your name, address.
Sure. Mike Regan, 113 North Street in Norfolk. As you can see, it's a very small, low farmer's wall. You can barely see it in parts, but my intention is to take the trees down, open it up, and bring the stones transitioning into the property by about 20 feet. Similar to the driveway, which is part of this property of 10 acres, has a driveway that has stone that follows into the drive about 20 feet, so it'll be similar to that.
Okay. And Blair, is that pretty common when you have these stones that you're relocating the stones in that fashion?
Yes.
Okay.
For comparative purposes, you can see this
There
plan
we
if
go.
you like.
Yep.
So the green dots are the trees, the yellow line just is the 40 feet of opening coming into the, it's like an 18-foot drive, 40-foot right-of-way, but 18-foot drive. That's on the top is the current driveway.
Oh, sorry, I got that.
That's all right.
What'd I do?
I think it's the blue picture icon.
It's the blue picture, yeah. Bottom
Yeah.
rightmost icon,
Thanks.
yep.
I'm sorry.
That top driveway, you can barely see, it has stone transitioning in off of the North Street.
Okay.
Got it.
So aesthetically, you'll kind of follow that. You'll
Yeah,
take
I'll
the existing wall.
duplicate that
Yeah,
coming
okay.
in. That comes in, like I said, about 20 feet and then just
Okay.
dead ends.
Okay.
And that's what we'll bring those, we'll split the wall and just bring them back.
That's a good location there. I did go out there when I posted the trees, and plenty of sight line, sight distance in both directions. So it's a great spot for it.
Okay. And then we're removing 3 trees. There's a lot of trees there.
Yes, there is.
Is there a need to add any more?
I wouldn't mandate any
Okay.
additional trees at this point.
Wanted
but,
to ask the question.
It's always on the table, and I do encourage tree plantings, but sometimes, again, when they get inside the right-of-way, you have to be selective about where you put them because of the sight lines and
Okay.
the speed at which people travel, especially on a straightaway such as this. You really have to be mindful of that. So
Okay.
I try to negotiate through that as best I can to look out for public safety.
Okay. All right. Board have any questions?
No.
Anybody in the room or Zoom have any questions?
The
Okay.
only one on Zoom.
You are the only one on Zoom. You're a little lonely on Zoom tonight, Rich. Yeah. Then
Check the lobby.
the lobby.
Make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for tree cutting at 113 North Street.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We now have a draft decision in front of us. It's very similar to the last one, just with changes for the address and the dates and so forth. Anybody have any questions on that?
Rich, these don't have permit numbers or anything, like other decisions?
No. It's an interesting question there. We don't have a lot of them.
Because it's not like a,
Right, don't do it an awful lot,
Yeah.
right? Half a dozen a year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
most.
Okay.
and it's noted by the address. That's the
Yep.
the unique identifier.
That's how I track them,
Yeah.
by the address.
Okay. All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the printed decision for the tree cutting and stone wall alteration, Scenic Roads Act, Shade Tree 113 North Street, as printed.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So that passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now we are slightly behind schedule, but close. So we have our public hearing for the Town of Norfolk special permit to allow internally illuminated portable municipal signs to be located on public right-of-ways in the Town of Norfolk. Go.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass General Law, Section 40A, and the Norfolk zoning bylaw, Section 310, 6.92, that a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 9th at 7:55 PM in Room 124, Norfolk Town Hall, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Mass. for the town of Norfolk relative to special permit application to allow internally illuminated portable municipal signs to be located on public right-of-ways in the town of Norfolk. The application is available for public inspection on the Norfolk website or in the office of Norfolk Planning Board during the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
Okay. So who, I guess who submitted the?
It's a collaborative effort.
A collaborative effort between?
It's from the town clerk and Department of Public Works.
Okay. So who would like to take the floor first?
I can start.
Okay.
Want to start? Okay.
So, just to start with a little bit of history here, at one time, it was very commonplace for the Department of Public Works, in conjunction with the police and fire department, to use the orange electronic message board that the town has for a variety of community information or acknowledgements, that sort of information. Those went through me normally to weed out what they thought was pertinent. And I think that we've been fairly judicious with that over the years. Recently has come to light that it's technically against rules and regulations, so we have not been using it for that. We have still used it for public safety as it was intended, but it has not been used for anything else. During the last election, it came to light with a fairly large number of people coming to the DPW asking why it wasn't out. And certainly have to explain this particular dilemma over and over again. And I know that our town clerk has been through the same sort of issues, trying to explain why it wasn't out for items such as voting. A lot of town residents, obviously we put those signs in the center of town, and a lot of residents, that's how they find out about what's going on in the community. So as we sparingly use it and try to only use it for things that really need to be known, such as town meeting or voting. When we had a special town meeting for the firehouse, there are a lot of those types of things that we use it for. I think it's a disservice to the town to not have that availability. That being said, again, we don't want to abuse it, and so I have been the one solely in charge of that. And like I said, I do try to be judicious about it, but not having it at all definitely is an issue. That's all I have for now.
So a little bit more context to it. I did a very good job.
Thank you.
So, as you know, you get to work with the bylaws and rules and regulations in the town, and there's it doesn't always fit so well, right, in terms of what we're trying to do and serve the public. And so what had happened was a private property owner was doing some advertising on their property, which they couldn't do because they didn't have the proper permits in terms of the sign bylaw. So then they posed the question, what about the town of Norfolk? So as you can imagine, these things are kind of challenging at times. So that was kind of the impetus to get partly into this. And what the question came up with is like, hey, we're advertising for, which we need to, snowplow drivers.
Sure.
It's a real challenge, and it's a public safety issue and so forth. So, well, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but basically, hey, if you guys can advertise with a lit sign, then, we should too, so to speak. So that's what kind of drew more attention to, was the advertisement, not necessarily the public safety aspect of it. The fortunate thing now is that we did change the sign bylaw last year. So internal illumination is something that is a permit that can be granted by the planning board to be able to allow it. Fitting it quite in the bylaw is, as you go through it, it's a freestanding town sign on town property, because this sign is located on town property or within the right-of-way. So in terms of sign type, that's how the consideration is that. And then the internal illumination aspect is to be able to use it for what Blair said, and then for the town clerk with elections and so forth. So that's just a little bit more in context why they're before you tonight.
And this is allowable under special permit, the way that the bylaws were.
Yes. Now, I will, in full disclosure to you as the board, unfortunately, residential districts wasn't included for internally illuminated signs. So, you can do it in the C1, you can do it in the B1, you can do it C4, C6. So, I would, so I think advice of council is like, let's just do it. If somebody's gonna challenge it, let's challenge it, because I think the overwhelming public interest is to have that sign for elections.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
if we're gonna fine grain arguments, you know, so.
So just to rewind it even a little bit further to our previous town administrator, we had previously had a town meeting warrant article for a town sign that kind of started a lot of this discussion as well.
Exactly, yep.
And under the new town administrator, we haven't had a revisit of those plans either, which, you know, I think it's time for us to have another discussion around that. I wholeheartedly love the fact that we promote things like the town elections, obviously. But I think there's probably a better method for us to do that. I'm not saying that tonight we don't make a decision in the affirmative to allow use or anything to that matter. I think we perhaps propose a provisional use for a certain amount of time until we do have something more permanent that we can review. That would be my approach.
In terms of for the town, you mean?
Right.
I like what you're saying, but I think the permanent use, which also I'm also waiting for, like I was surprised that didn't come up once the sign bylaw was passed, but I think this is supplemental to that, or actually different in its entirety, right? Because to the point about hiring snowplow drivers or town meeting is, you know, it's supplemental to that permanent standing thing. And so provisionary in the sense of time boxed, I'm not sure is necessary for this. Like I
Do we
think
have specific language?
I haven't pre-drafted anything in terms of specific language for this. In terms of a permit, you mean?
Because can we draft the permit to expire after 12 months and then revisit it?
Right, annually?
Right.
Yeah.
You can, yeah, because it is a special permit, so.
The only downfall with that I see is the fees associated. So we had said we were going to waive.
But we don't have to pay fees as the town, right?
But you still
No, we
have
have
to
to
pay
put notice,
advertising
though.
fees
I
for
mean-
the public hearing.
We did a public hearing notice.
The public hearing
Fees for
notice
that.
is the only fee.
Got
Because
it.
we had said we would waive all special permit fees for these signs for the first 12 months.
Right.
It's just kind of like our underlying.
Administrative fees,
Yeah.
Administrative.
Yeah, all the administrative fees, but any fees that,
The required fees are
the
still in
required
place.
fees would be passed through. So if you did it every 12 months, it comes at a cost, I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, it's included in any other public hearings notice that we would be having for that meeting anyway, right?
No, it's a
Separate
special
notice.
Separate notice.
Yeah, it's a separate notice.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah, I don't mind, you know, putting the screws to it a little bit. Maybe that helps require.
Because you would like to see a more permanent sign.
I
is
would
what
like
you're
something
saying.
permanent, yeah, personally. I think that helps us kind of bring that
It was a
forward.
request and we literally opened the door.
Right, and,
Like Justin's not on the call anymore, but we should be like, hey,
right.
where's the,
Let's text her.
And it doesn't have to be 12 months, it could be 18 months for all I
Now,
care.
you're talking about more of a permanent sign that you could just, with the original,
The original intent of what we were
Yeah.
trying to do was to get
Yeah.
a sign where we would have this information posted and people could see it as they were driving through
Yeah.
town center
Yeah.
or going by the library
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah, yeah,
and see what was
100%.
going on.
but this
right?
is supplemental and auxiliary to that, so I think still serves a purpose to exist, right? Especially so town meeting, because if you have it in town center as
Right.
permanent, but then off of 1A or something as a.
Right.
Well, 1A is a
mobile,
different thing. You
nomadic,
need the
what's-
state approval to do that.
Okay, yeah, good point, but, okay, off of.
115.
115 is fine,
115,
yes.
I-
But that's residential, and we'd have to fix the bylaw.
No, there's C,
Oh, C.
No, there's still,
Four?
there's C and there's B1.
That's fine,
Yeah, yeah.
that's fair.
But in all honesty, we've never, I think we, at one time, we put it at the corner of North and Needham.
Yeah.
And I think that was for the marathon that was running through to let vehicular traffic know that we may have some issues with traffic, which I would wrap under public safety.
It's typically been at the fire station.
Right, it's
or
at the
one
fire
of the
station
rotaries.
or at the Rotary. You know, and now, like for voting, I will occasionally put it at City Mills to catch the traffic coming from Franklin into town, but even that, I mean, all together, we're probably, I would, no more than a dozen times per year, and that's probably on the high side.
That's, yeah.
You know, all totaled, and half of those are messages for, you know, vehicular safety for, you know, events that are coming up that'll impact the vehicular traffic, so.
I mean, to your point, it's a, and the original, you know, one of the thoughts was actually at the new fire, you know, have one of the fire stations so that, you know, you could get your burn permit, blah, blah, change the smoke, whatever. So we can revisit. I'll speak to Justin about kind of.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to revisit a more permanent sign, but
Yeah.
but I also want to echo what Gary said, is that I feel that this is a different use. You know, I think there is a use for some sort of a permanent sign, but this is a kind of temporary, as-needed type use that's gonna be, that even if we do have this permanent sign, this is still gonna get needed. So I don't necessarily think we should put a sunset on
Well,
this.
so help me out. So we've got public safety as a use. We've got advertising for public events.
Town.
Or
at municipal.
Road events.
Yeah.
community benefit.
Advertise for community benefit, and that,
Yep.
would you argue that also kind of lumps in the snowplow as well?
Snowplow, you know, you could easily make an argument for public safety at the end of the day. if you don't have
Yes,
enough people,
100%.
right?
Any other use that we're looking at for this?
Construction, but that's.
That's safety.
Again, it's public safety, so.
Safety, yeah.
So really, we have two uses.
Public
One is
safety and community benefit.
community benefit, and the community benefit is really better served by a more permanent solution that's not moving anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's site-specific stuff too.
Yeah,
like
sites-
Events and road closure or,
But that's public safety.
That's public safety. Like, I can think of, for community benefit would be Memorial Day Parade maybe, or Community Day.
Right, but
Town-
again,
you know, town.
more permanent
town
solution.
meeting, Voting,
right, but you put it at
elections.
the right intersection
Those are all community
to
benefits.
show there's something here.
But if we have something that's more permanent and we know it's going to be there, then people are going to be more apt to go by it to see what's going on in the town, right?
So there's the piece that here is a community event, but then the other piece is like, all right, you may need to go this way or that way, right?
Right, but that's public safety.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to divorce the two, right? So
Oh,
let's
yeah,
use
yeah.
the sign for the public safety piece and provide passage for that to allow, by right, indefinite use of the sign for public safety, which I think we technically already have carved out, right? And then the second piece, put a provisional timeline on when we need to revisit this discussion if we don't have a more permanent solution brought to us. I say, you know, we do a temporary permit for advertising for community benefit for 18 months, and hopefully within 18 months, we have a review of something that we can put before the town and get budget for and start building and putting in place.
Point taken, but wouldn't there also be additional value in something like remember to vote on May 7th when it's in multiple places?
Right.
So a standing sign here, and then something else like City Mills area.
We only have
people
one of
coming.
these, right?
No.
We have two. How many do we typically employ?
For voting, let's say, or town election, I do put out two. I'll put one at City Mills and, you know, one in another location, usually one downtown here somewhere.
I think there's value in that.
And I'm fine with that. I don't think, you know, it needs to be Well, all I'm trying to do is force the issue of getting that more
I hear you.
permanent
Yeah, no,
sign.
I
Like, how do
totally
we
get
figure
it.
out, how do we get to that?
Maybe that's you and I knocking down the door.
I don't want to unfairly punish.
No, I don't
this-
think, do you
this-
feel punished?
Well,
Okay, maybe punish
You're
is a
asking a
little
guy that
strong.
gets 50 emails a day.
That's it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's it.
It's a Friday afternoon when town hall's closed.
I think I just got those now.
Yeah,
both have a purpose, right? This is kind of,
right.
I know your point.
Right, and so I think we can craft some language in there as well from the community benefit piece for certain things where a second auxiliary sign is employed for these types of events, right?
Yeah, community announcement, whatever, yeah, I get
Which
you.
is still fine within that 18-month provisional period. And then post that, we come up with another decision. So we're looking really at two decisions at the end of the day that says, hey, in the event of community benefit, we understand that we have this permanent solution, but we also have the ability to employ the secondary solution and place these signs to further announce town elections. And then we call out those things. And if there's anything that we've missed, that's when we have an amendment drawn to that permit and we do it that way.
So if we had, in your 18-month kind of time frame, is it to have that permanent sign in place or just plans to?
No, the 18-month timeline is just so that Blair can continue doing what Blair was doing under the bylaw with the special permit in place. He continues to own the quick wit authorism of whatever goes up on that sign, as well as saying, yes, this can go on the sign, no, this can't, yes, this sign can go there, and no, it can't go there, kind of thing that he's been doing. No problems there, but we have a timeline when that special permit ends.
Right.
And hopefully before then, someone comes to us with a sign proposal that says, this is what we want from a finalized permanent solution.
Okay.
And if that doesn't come back, in 18 months, we have another conversation around this. We most likely will approve this again, but we will continue to spend town money until we get what we originally wanted.
Yeah, we're making the,
I got you. I'm following you. Okay.
We
And I
force
would
a hand
ask
over
maybe
it.
that
I
what
still-
we craft here is included in that eventual solution so that if the permanent solution fails, technology, it is what it is.
Exactly.
There's a fallback here that, we have.
I still feel, and I get the point, I still feel it's overly restrictive, and I don't think this should be muddled with our wants for.
Well, we're not putting our
standing.
wants into it. The wants you can't put wants into the permit.
No, but the provision is due to the wants, right? Like, hey, this is what we want to see from town hall, so let's time box this. I feel comfortable just saying,
If we don't time box it, there's no incentive for them to do anything.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I don't work in town hall, so I can't.
I mean, I don't think we're providing an incentive regardless. I think
I
some
think the
people
original
are
incentive
very
was the
willing
sign
to.
bylaw, and
maybe
maybe things get dropped, there's a lot of things going on. Maybe if we go and talk to town hall about, hey, can we workshop this, get a price on it?
So I will say this, to that point, so there is a value on it, although I will say, from getting some preliminary numbers, it's not an inexpensive cost. So, I mean, I think the one, I forget the last one we got, was like $25,000 to put in, and it wasn't awesome. It
Yeah,
was,
that's actually pretty low.
so
Yeah.
it's a significant amount of money. And I do understand the big purpose, but we also have been asking to sharpen our pencils on all these other budgetary things, and so, I get your point. I'm just, there's a lot of asks from a financial perspective. That's the only concern. Right?
And to your point, Gary, it is useful to have them in multiple locations, right? Which
we're allowing by right.
Right, so what if we did, so I agree with the letting the town and Blair and Carol have all their messaging around because it helps everyone in the town. What if we put, like for today, we say we'll approve it for 12 or 18 months, but then we revisit a bylaw that we didn't think of previously that would just allow this going forward for the benefit of the town, to have it in multiple locations.
I don't see that would require us going to town vote, whereas
Yes.
we can just provide it through special permit.
indefinitely,
I think
Indefinitely.
if we
that was-
wanted.
Good, we just have to
that
reapply.
that was
and
the
then-
intent. We wanted the ability to craft a sign bylaw that was equally applicable to all businesses in town, or
Including the town.
including the town,
Right.
understanding that, we're more than happy to provide special permit assistance to the town to get things that are necessary for the town.
And also to see what was coming in as a request for special permits over a course of time, to look at, okay, these have been coming in, and we're seeing a lot of the same thing, and we're approving them, so now maybe we need to look at the bylaw and make those happen by right.
Right. And
But
to
we're not
date-
there yet.
to
We're
date, we've
obviously
had
not
one,
there yet.
right?
This
is
would be the
our
second one.
Yeah.
Right, and
This
I
would be
would
our
add that, approaching town hall essentially will end up back on my desk. So,
Yes.
it's kind of a twofold. I obviously would appreciate having the ability to move forth, doing what we have been doing in the past, under the caveat that I continue to look into costs and placement of such a sign and report back to the planning board, say over the next 6 months, on some thoughts, ideas, and suggestions on what would be permissible for such a sign. But, because at the end of the day, it will fall back on the Department of Public Works.
We love sign conversations, because in the last 2 years, this is now like 10,000th hour talking about this stuff.
Yes,
So
well,
we
I
appreciate
am
it.
the originator of the street sign,
Oh, okay.
and have killed that conversation more than once. But, yes,
That was a
Okay.
tough road, yeah.
yeah, it's a tough road. But certainly willing to do that, trying to kind of solve a couple of concerns and a couple
So
of
what are we
issues.
comfortable voting on?
I don't like putting a limit on, I'll be honest. I feel comfortable that Blair will,
As tree warden and DPW
well,
director?
not as tree warden, but yes, but as DPW director, I feel comfortable that he will continue researching cost-effective solutions and locations of where to put this.
I don't doubt that.
I know, but you want something,
Yes.
Okay.
And I would not vote in the affirmative if we do not have a time stamp on it.
I think 18 months is a little,
I'll go up to
No,
2 years.
he-
I
he
would- I
still-
was gonna say
he
two,
still-
yeah.
Still can reapply or continue this.
I know.
permit, so it's,
I would
It's
say
just-
my friendly amendment would be 2 years then. If you're, I mean, I know we're not
We're not
voting yet, but I mean,
I will
that's
take your
totally-
2.
Kind of, yeah.
I know we're not voting yet, and we have.
I'll call your
nothing's on the floor,
2
but-
years.
All right.
I would be willing to compromise my position with 2 years.
Okay.
If it gets
But we're
to
we're not
yes.
voting yet. This still,
No.
this still was just in the public hearing. We're just talking about.
We want to give town hall confidence that we're willing to vote yes. I'm just telling,
Okay.
under those conditions, I would vote yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to open up for public?
Yep. So, do we have any? I guess any other
There's
comments
people in the
from?
room.
Yeah, there's no one on Zoom. Just you, Rich. So, any comments from the room?
Yes, please.
Hi, Donna.
Donna Jones, North Street. Was there an issue that it was being put on private property with town information?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. So that access road near the Grange, was it put on town property?
It's within the right of way.
Yeah, it was in the,
He said within the right of way.
Within the right of way, Donna.
Okay. And would this, Rich said that there was someone who was doing it that said, the law doesn't apply to me. Does this
no.
change what their action?
Well, they could apply for permits. They didn't. They took down their signs. But it was more, if you're going to quote unquote enforce the sign code, then you need to enforce it upon the town as well. So that's how it was initially,
Thank you.
which was done. That's why I was here tonight.
Thank you, Donna. Anyone else in the room? Okay. Carol, you have any? Okay.
Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the direction? Okay.
We got a thumb.
I'm with Gary on this is two entirely separate issues. A mobile sign is above and beyond a permanent sign placed somewhere. I think it's two entirely separate things. Because I would think that we would still use the mobile sign as well as having a permanent sign.
I agree.
That's just. But I'll take whatever you give. I just want the phone calls to stop. Because clearly I'm holding secret elections.
Okay. Donna, do you have another? Okay.
No. This was my microphone, please effort.
Thank you, Donna.
So unless we have any other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing
So should we recodify what we're thinking for,
before we close it.
yeah, or does that
You're
matter?
thinking and we're willing to
So
agree.
you close the hearing, then we'll draft the
Yeah,
decision.
we'll draft it
Okay,
after we close it.
that's fine.
So, yeah, just any other comments before we close? All right. So I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries to close. So now let's talk a little bit, I mean, you don't have any draft language yet.
I do not have, no.
So let's just kind of talk a little bit on something, and then Rich can draft that up. Do you want us to make a decision as of tonight? Or do you want to
Yeah, maybe if
draft
you,
something for our next meeting?
maybe you could vote it with a condition and subject to review, so I'll get it to you.
that's fine.
then.
Isn't the value on voting for it now so the signs can be
Yes.
out for town?
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, so let's do it. Yep.
I've got the election May 7th, and we have early voting before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to get this done tonight. Okay.
So the decision that Rich will be drafting will include the town's use of the portable signs, portable internally illuminated signs.
Yes.
Internally illuminated portable municipal signs.
For public safeties, for use of public safety for an indefinite amount of time, and the advertising for community benefit for the period of the next 24 months.
Okay.
And then Rich,
And we're going to waive all fees except for the,
Notice.
No, that's different.
no,
This is a specific
it's different, okay.
grant.
We don't have to
Filing
do-
fee.
The filing, yeah.
Filing.
Okay.
you got that, Rich?
You.
You good?
Yes.
Subject to our, subject to Rich drafting it and our review later this week.
Yes, but effective
Or-
immediately? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Effective.
Effective the
They're
date
gonna,
of the
they're gonna
hearing.
probably proceed at risk, I suspect.
It's very possible.
So I think we'll,
Okay.
Yeah, the sign's literally right there, turned on if you don't. No, I'm kidding.
Gary. I don't know what you're saying.
they're gonna need to proceed at risk essentially, because
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so this is something we get to vote on, or we can vote on?
Yeah, so is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay.
For clarity, what did we just say?
I move that the draft decision includes language about the
Public safety?
By right
Internally
use.
illuminated portable municipal signs.
use for public safety to be indefinite, as well as the use of advertising for community benefit for a period of 24 months before having to be renewed.
Effective immediately.
Effective immediately,
Immediately.
that's perfect.
Without
and
question.
all fines, not fines, all fees waived.
All fees waived. All fees waived.
Okay.
So do we have a
We
second?
don't have a fine
So we
schedule.
have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
See you in 2 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, we're going to see Blair.
I know.
He said 6 months. We'll see him in
6
6
months.
months with some ideas.
Love it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Blair, you should also mention to the other person that maybe they could just come and get a special permit because it goes well.
Yes.
We're not horrible.
We're not.
No.
We would like to help.
I really enjoy it.
There's a application filing fee also,
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Didn't we say we were waiving those for the first year?
except for the public notification.
Public
So
notice.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been encouraging where I
That's
can
not
people to
an
come in.
insignificant fee.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a little expensive.
It's like $500 to put this on the newspaper.
$500 to put in, maybe we just need to revisit the bylaw, but not tonight.
Yeah, let's go
Not tonight.
to-
Okay.
Well, thank you all.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Warden.
So moving on to the next public hearing, which is to discuss the proposed changes to the Norfolk zoning bylaws, which have been submitted to the warrant for the 5/14/2024 annual town meeting. So Eric.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Chapter 48 of Mass General Law that the Norfolk Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 9th at 8 p.m. in the Norfolk Town Hall, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, to discuss proposed changes in Norfolk zoning bylaw, which have been submitted to the warrant for the May 15th, 2024 annual town meeting. Complete copies of the text of the amendments are available for review in the Norfolk Town website or in the Planning Board office during the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. The article is as follows: to see if the town of Norfolk will vote to amend Norfolk zoning bylaws, section 310, 310.4.2, schedule of use regulations, attachment 1, by deleting the following strike-through language and add the following new language in bold print to take any action in relation thereto.
I'm confused. We just opened up the public hearing to say that we were going to... Okay, it's just an agenda issue. Okay.
Okay.
Because the agenda says we're going to remove the entire section and replace it with new language.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
Right, no, we're not. We're
really-
doing the strike-through and adding...
We're really doing the straight, it's an agenda issue.
Okay.
It's really strike-through replaceable.
Is that an issue for the hearing, or no?
No,
No.
because the hearing is properly advertised.
Okay.
So just as a potential idea to entertain is, we have people in the audience, I don't think they're here for the use table. I suspect they're probably here for 71 Union Street special permit request,
Probably.
which, the hearing is past 8:15.
Right.
So maybe we recess this public hearing and then go to the other one, if you,
Sure, we can do that.
you can, if you choose.
You have to
just
vote on it.
So we have to
Yeah,
make.
you have to vote on it to recess it,
I'm fine with that.
and then go to Union,
So,
come back.
yep.
Sounds fine.
So I'll entertain a motion to recess the 8 PM public hearing to discuss the Norfolk zoning bylaws until after the next,
After this good discussion for 71 Union
yeah,
Street.
after the public hearing for 71 Union Street.
Second? So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, so now we have recessed that, and we're going to open up the 8:15 71 Union public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that in accordance with Mass General Law, Section 40A, and the Norfolk zoning bylaw, Section 310.5.2-G, that a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 9th at 8:15 p.m. in Room 124, Norfolk Town Hall, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Mass., relative to a special permit application for an estate lot for property located at 71 Union Street, Norfolk, Mass. 02056. The applicant is, can you help me with pronunciation? Owen Gillespie. The property is located in the R2 zoning district. Reference Assessor's Map 13, Block 60, Lot 59, showing a 3.66 acre parcel. The application is available for public inspection on the Town of Norfolk website or in the Town of Norfolk Planning Board, in the office of the Norfolk Planning Board during the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Public hearing is open. Do we have, Rich, do you want to give us, you have something to display?
I do, yeah. Download.
So it's my understanding it's an estate lot. It's going to be with two houses. Is that?
Yeah. Let me just move it over here. Come on. Why is it not? Fine. Oh my goodness. Please stand by. I'm gonna, why is it not? Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. Let's just go rotate this. Download. Where's my rotate? Why is it not? Gotta download it first, I guess. Let's try this again. That's fine, whatever.
You gotta go to the folder and open it in Acrobat instead of your web browser. Because it
Right click, open with.
it must be defaulted to open in the web browser.
Right click.
No, you gotta go
Go to the file browser, file, what do they call it?
the yellow folder at the bottom.
Windows Explorer?
Windows
Oh,
File
yeah.
Explorer.
Okay.
How long's it been?
Yeah, I see.
This morning, I just don't.
There you go.
2015 for me. Yeah.
You won't look at it that way, probably. Okay. So, I'm gonna kick it off and then just leave the room for a moment and then come back.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
So this is a proposal for a state lot. If you see, there's the red line here. This is the entire lot presently, with one single family home on it. The request is for an estate lot to the north. This lot, if this plan were approved, would be for the existing house that's on Union Street presently. If you could see in that present lot, if it were approved by the planning board, does comply with the dimensional requirements of the Norfolk zoning bylaw. This lot as proposed in terms of an estate lot does comply with the dimensional requirements for an estate lot in the town of Norfolk, which is in terms of 3 times the minimum land area on the underlying zoning district, which is 43,560 square feet with 50 feet of frontage along the public way. There's more than 50 feet here. There's 94.53. There are upland requirements to it. The wetlands are to the rear of the site. This project may, in fact, if it were approved, need a notice of intent, but in terms of the dimensional requirements for the estate lot bylaw, it does meet those requirements. Jimmy Nerva is here from Dunn McKenzie, representing the applicant. I'll have him, just take the mic and then I'll be right back and then
Okay.
fill it in.
Hi, my name is Jim Neva from Dunn McKenzie. Owen he's petitioned to have a state lot, break up his lot, his 71 Union Street into one residential lot and one estate lot. It meets all the requirements that is pointed out by the town bylaws. And like I said, like Rich said, the wetlands are in the rear of the property, and I show a roughly proposed house with a septic system that meets all the offsets. So, we'll looking for any comments.
So you're gonna have two driveways pretty close to each other.
Correct.
That's right.
Yep.
I'm pretty familiar with where that is. Are there any site distance issues? I can't think of any, but I just thought I'd ask.
I don't believe so.
Or Grove.
Because you got Grove coming out, that's pretty wide intersection at this point.
It is.
So you're looking both ways. So,
And Union at that point is a pretty straight road.
yes, it is.
Definitely to the north.
Yes.
It's straight, almost straight as an arrow. Yeah, okay. So there's an existing stone wall on the back of that, looks like in the back of the property. Well, I mean, it'd be in the middle of the new property.
Yes.
Okay. And so, I mean, obviously, that is not along the scenic byway, so I mean, I guess you're open to do what you can with that. Which is not it, that's not what we're discussing tonight. We're discussing the estate lot, so. I don't have any questions.
Sorry, I'm just reading through the documentation that we have in front of us.
It's a very long driveway.
It's very long.
The property next door also has a long driveway leading
Yes,
to...
yes, it's, the driveway to the north has a long driveway going in also, which we show where the existing house is.
Can you go down, Rich?
It's 69 Union Street,
Oh, we don't have it on here.
That's not on here.
but there's,
Can you do the GIS?
Yeah, that's what I'm playing with. I want to just
Oh,
get
you're
it
reading
set
my
up
mind,
before-
Rich, thank you.
Before I show it.
GIS doesn't show the driveway.
You have to go to
probably
Google
overgrown.
Maps, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that doesn't show.
Well, you know what? This might actually, hold on a second. So let's go to this view.
It's this part. It's like this right here.
So this is the,
This is 71, that's
Yeah, he's
60.
got it up.
this is the existing house here,
Yep.
showing the driveway.
And the address to that house is
That's 71.
71 Union.
71 Union, okay.
So the land that we're talking about is in this rear portion of the lot.
Okay.
Is the driveway so close to the other one because you don't want to be directly across from Grove Street?
No, well, yes, and as well as we want to keep, a good buffer to the north, you don't we don't want to, we can move the driveway at any point, but we would rather be close, we stay away from the 69 Union Street, because
It would also affect the frontage. Well, no, it'll be the same amount of frontage.
right.
I don't necessarily have any issues with this.
So what would the address of this house be then?
Well, we'd have to,
Yeah, I'm
Be like
just curious.
71A.
71 and a half? Here are a couple half addresses in this town.
Yeah, so this butts right up against the wetlands and the floodplain. It looks
Yeah.
like,
You've got Stony
up
Brook right
against it.
behind it.
I mean, we'd have to look at, I mean, it's, It's possible this might have to be renumbered, in terms of 71 might need to be renumbered as well. Because there's not much room between here. You got 69 next door, 71, and it goes to 79, so.
Is that us or is that the
I
postmaster?
don't think that's got anything to do with us.
I don't think it has to
It's,
necessarily do with us, I'm just
Well,
curious.
so to speak, we assign addresses to properties.
Okay.
Well, could the new house be 71 and the existing house be like 73, 75?
Yeah,
You know,
it's a possibility. That way,
as we're going away from town,
yeah.
you know?
The address is.
What's the next one over?
79.
79.
Yeah,
So it
okay.
jumped from 71 to 79.
Yeah, 73 makes sense. Or even 75. at
Or
that
even
point.
75, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just because we make it an estate lot doesn't mean that we're saying it's buildable. So I think that's important to keep in mind.
Yes.
It still is a risk for the property owners to understand that just because you have the designation of the boundaries of a new lot does not necessarily mean you can put a house on it. That's
There's
additional
other criteria, yeah.
finding that needs to be performed.
Yep. That's a good point.
So if that being the case, who decides that?
If you
The
could
building
kind of grab a
department.
microphone.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you all have to say.
It's,
It's just for the recording.
yeah. Introduce yourself.
So the green light comes on?
On this here? Oh, I see, Mike.
Yeah, just who decides if it's, everything's by town regulations and everything that we done with the engineers for a buildable lot, and it's approved. Now, if you can't decide if it's going to be a buildable lot or if it's, there's no point doing an estate lot for my well-being if it's not a buildable lot. So do you decide that, or does the building department decide that if you allow an estate lot? But I can't see the point in doing an estate lot if it's not a buildable lot. My point.
So the planning board, through this process, would approve it as a buildable lot at the compliance with zoning. You still need a septic system
Yeah.
for the lot, which
That's all on the drawings.
yeah, but that hasn't been approved as of
I
yet.
understand that.
Yep,
So that's the permitting process.
that's the permitting process. And then if it triggers jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, then you would have to file with them as well, and then that's their separate permit, like anything else. But in terms of the zoning, to be able to do this, it meets the standards of the bylaw to create an estate lot.
Yeah, I think what, I guess to sum up what Chris is saying is, you could still run into roadblocks
Right.
to make it non-buildable, but right now it meets the criteria of an estate lot. But
An estate buildable lot.
an estate buildable lot, but you could still run into future roadblocks outside of the planning board
Meaning with the building department.
No,
Conservation
not with the
Commission.
building department.
with conservation.
Conservation or Board of Health. So this is gonna be on, it's a well. And there's enough,
Yeah.
and you have a well for the existing house.
Yes.
So you'll provide, there's setbacks from the wells to the septic systems for both your existing.
It's all on there.
Correct. Right. I show the wells, I show the proposed wells. I showed a proposed septic system, which I do have approved perk test at this point. I wouldn't have came to, I wouldn't have came or tried to do a state lot before I did this anyways, because that's one of the requirements, make sure
Yeah.
everything is done, so,
Right. Yep, I agree. So, any other comments from the board?
I'm good.
Do we have any comments from people in the room?
Name and address.
Yes.
Yep.
Be right back, somebody's locked out.
Adam Zucker, 69 Union.
Yes.
Got some allergies, so I sound a little like Batman. I swear I'm not really that cool. There's a lot of issues with this project. First of all, precedent. There are no structures beyond that stone wall on Union Street that I know of, period. The intersection at where the driveway is going to come out is going to make for a really precarious. If it's a 5-bedroom and there's a current 5-bedroom, there's going to be a lot of children there, and there's going to be a lot of people run through there 45. I don't care what the speed limit is, but people do not pay attention. So there's so many issues with this property. We have a certifiable vernal pool behind our house where I've got photos of amphibian eggs right now. And that well and the septic potentially could really damage. Do you want to take over?
Sure.
So they can hear?
Name and address.
Hi. Elizabeth Zucker, 69 Union Street.
Thank you.
The driveway is a concern. Grove and Union, we have cops pulling people over all day long on Union Street. And Grove is kind of a funky intersection there, and there's no stop sign or stop light on Union Street. And this driveway is going to go straight, basically make it a 4-corner intersection. And then again, kids, the folks that live there now, they've already raised their kids. I'm sure they're going to, sell at some point. New kids are going to move in. You're going to have school buses, cars, etc. But beyond all that, and I have a letter here we can pass out, but there's just a whole host of other considerations.
But are those, so I'm just going to stop you, are those considerations of approving an estate lot, or are they more conservation?
Well, some of them are.
Because we're here tonight obviously it's a public hearing, so we're here to listen, but, I want to keep us on target on what really is involved in approving a state lot, and if it has to do with conservation, that's a whole nother topic for another board.
Okay.
So the driveway's number one.
Yep.
That's a big concern. Number two is the
with
septic.
regards to the driveway, we have multiple intersections that are for. So, if we can't start policing things like that, unfortunately.
No. But we can start policing the septic, and is there any offset in the event that they have to change?
And they meet the requirements.
They meet the fact. When's the FEMA wetlands? First of all, it does need to be reflagged for wetlands, but also the FEMA floodplain is from 2012. It's supposed to be updated every 3 years.
I think we adopted Rich, what was our latest FEMA maps that we adopted? It wasn't 12.
This plan was done from 2012.
Yeah, so
FEMA maps from 2012.
Right.
the new FEMA map, we haven't,
Excuse me.
We haven't adopted it, okay.
FEMA hasn't come out with a brand-new map. The last map was 2012, okay? They are so far behind everything through Massachusetts. We were looking at...
So we just going to build and hope it passes?
No, we meet it at today's standard. The last FEMA map was done in 1987.
Okay, perfect. That's a good point, because we're relying on a 12-year-old map, right, when it should be 3-year-old.
Right, we can't control.
We can't control that. But what's the recourse if it gets built and swamped out and there's feces floating around and the well is imposing on our wetlands, our vernal pool? Where do you go?
The homeowner.
Where's he?
Right there.
Exactly. Not after he sells them.
Okay, so it's the new homeowner.
It's the new homeowner.
Who said I was going to sell them?
I am not. but,
hold on, we're not doing discussion back and forth. I'm not allowing that.
But it's your risk to take if you want to rely on the 12-year-old FEMA map when we just had the wettest winter ever.
But that's the map that we have to go with, because that's what's.
So you go with it at your risk then. That's what I'm saying.
That's what.
That's a conservation review, though.
But that's,
That's
again,
federal.
that's not part of this
Okay.
discussion. That's
Right.
conservation.
And the legality, we would question the legality of the well that's really close to our property. That's going to be really close to our wetlands that abut our properties.
But again, they meet the requirements for an estate lot.
Which he already, he received a cease and desist from the town for disturbing those wetlands before.
That is not part of the discussion this evening.
Okay,
for
that's
this
fine.
board.
But it's on record.
I appreciate that, but all those things, pretty much everything you mentioned is outside of the discussion of this board, and except for the location of the driveway. I mean, so, unless you have anything else to add that's planning board related, and not conservation, because that's not part of this board.
How about soil testing? Is that in the scope of this conversation?
With regards to the septic system?
So what we understand is that the current residents, the last soil testing was done in 1991, and the deep hole testing was done in 2018. And we are proposing that that is very dated, and that should be redone and updated.
What's the soil?
With regards to
Planning, but a test hole in the state of Massachusetts does not expire. A perk test does not expire.
Soil testing?
Soil testing does not expire in the state of Mass, okay? You know, we did this back in 2018, you know, because we were thinking about doing this, and Mr. Gillespie has asked us to do this. We did this, we had 2 valid perks, soil testing, and I designed a system that it meets all the requirements. I'm out of all the wells, out of all the wetlands, so.
And with regards to the soil, that's Board of Health, that's not
Yes.
Planning Board. We're only concerned about distances.
And something like a vernal pool would also be something to bring to Concom's attention,
Right.
things like
Yeah.
that.
Concerned with the driveway,
I'm not specifically concerned about it, but I understand your comment.
the one that's there.
Well, the length isn't something that we have any control over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that. I mean, I'm not paying the plower at the end of the day, so I'm not that concerned.
Yeah. It is a very long driveway, but that's the homeowner's decision.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
No,
I
appreciate it. Thank you for
Yep.
bringing these concerns.
Obviously, we feel like this home being built where it is a real encroachment, both on the nature of the lots and the continuity with the land that is there and the homes that surround it. And you're gonna have to clear cut a whole lot of trees, and I know you guys don't wanna hear it, but this is just a 5-bedroom house put smack dab up against the wetlands, where no other houses encroach that far back into the wetlands. They're squeezing a house in because they can. And it's not appropriate to be there. So, with that, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. We have someone else as a comment. If the green light
The
is
green
lit-
light on? Up towards the
It
top.
sounds like it is.
No,
No, that one's not.
look it up. Name and address.
Hi, Harvey Stone, 79 Union Street. I'm just south of Mr. Gillespie. First of all, I just want to say the Gillespies have been outstanding neighbors for the 12 years that we've lived there. Just really can't ask for better neighbors. I do have a couple concerns, and they may be easily explained, but, so I called Mr. Gillespie right after I received this in the mail as an abutter. And, you know, he's going to explain, well, he's going to build an estate lot. He wants to kind of downsize. He's thinking about building like a little log cabin type nestled amongst the trees. And then I get the thing and I see it's a 5-bedroom house. Now I know nothing ever stays the same, Eventually, he's telling me that, well, one of his children is going to move into his house, his current house. He's going to move back into the smaller house. But to me, a 5-bedroom house is not a small house. It sounds pretty big. And I'm just thinking, we've had a farm with animals. They make a lot of noises. There's a lot of smells. I'm just concerned about two young families moving in at some point, they're going to complain. There's these smells. There's these animals. Chickens doing what chickens do, I just don't know where that goes. So I just kind of want to
So as long as you're doing what you need to do with regards to distances of, as stated in the bylaws, then you're fine. You have no reason to comply with requests for odor or noise outside of that.
Okay. I just, concerned because, new families move in, they pay, 5 years from now, $2 million for this house, and they don't want to hear horses baying and...
We are a farm by right town.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's very close to is about as south to I guess it would be my northeast corner is where I stack my manure because I can't go any further down into the wetlands, which is about as close to his house as you get. So it stays there until I gather so much, and then
You go to the other plan?
Go back to the plan, sure.
So if you see the barn there on the top left, and in that's a riding ring, and just to the left of the riding ring is where I stack my manure. And his house his proposed house is going to be to the...
You can feel free to point it out on the screen.
Sure. Owen, you can probably show me better where.
So, Rich, can you go back to the other screen?
the other one? Or?
Yeah, the other one. The map. There we go.
And scroll down.
All right, so this is our corner of the lot, and this is kind of where I put my manure under these trees. And his house, I believe, is going to be...
Well, actually, that's not true. Your manure pile is right. Your barn, your manure pile is right over in this corner here.
Yeah, no, this is...
Unless you started dumping it recently.
Because I was informed, that we couldn't go back here anymore.
I know, because it's piled back there for years.
Yeah, that's
which
where
I'm sure
Fred
against
had it.
Yeah. Well, you've been up there for a while too. I'm not going to get into that, but that's all wetlands down there.
Yeah.
So I have not seen any manure piles there.
Well, if we can go out there tomorrow. It's right in
So
this
then you
area.
recently, within a couple of weeks, started doing it?
No, it's been a couple months. Probably 4 months at least.
So your concern is someone moving in down the road, someone moving in, paying a good price, and then being very concerned that they're living next to a farm with smells.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Chris said, it's like, well, you're within your right to do that.
Okay.
As long as you're adhering to all the local rules and regulations. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Val Stone, 79 Union Street. So I'm in a butter, and I also teach environmental and agricultural science at Norfolk County Agricultural High School. So I just have a couple concerns as well. My dad already addressed some. I'm a little bit concerned about the leaching fields, and the septic could be a hazard to the abutting properties. Obviously, you guys have discussed that. We moved to a rural area for our horses and our livestock, and a project like this could threaten them. You said that it is a right to farm community. I've never seen that legally posted anywhere, so I would like to see that in writing. It affects our property values because we bought this as a rural area for a private equestrian property, and that abuts right into the riding ring. So it affects our property values as an equestrian property. And then this is probably has to do with Conservation Commission instead of you, but there are 2 species that are protected under the Massachusetts Endangered Species Act. That probably doesn't have to do with you guys, though. So I just have concerns about the property values being so close to where we are, it affects our privacy. We never ever assumed that anyone would be, building a lot right behind our riding ring, right where our horses are, where my goats are. They're a huge asset to me. They're worth a lot of money, and having someone threaten that is a little scary.
Yeah, I appreciate the comments. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Any other comments from the board? Questions? So I think we're at a point where we can, unless we got any other comments before we close the public hearing. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing for
71 Union Street.
71 Union Street.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, so public hearing is closed. We have a draft decision in our packet. It is in the middle. It's
Decision 2024.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
The period for
yeah.
questions is now closed. We just
Public hearing is
just asked.
closed. Sorry. So we have a draft decision in here for the special permit application. I mean, the estate lot does comply with the setback requirements. And so towards the last, I guess it's page 6 of the decision is kind of the decisions and conditions. So you got 1, the lot shall not be further subdivided as a result. Number 2 is prior to the issuance of the building permit. Okay. 3, the estate lot special permit approval. Agencies, any changes? Yeah, okay. All utilities from the property line into the subject property should be constructed underground. 5, the applicant should provide a copy of the endorsed plan to the assessors. So, very, very standard, straightforward.
Yep, I'm good.
Any questions, discussion from the board?
I'm doing that.
Gary, Melissa?
I don't think so.
No, I'm just looking at the GIS map and where that house is being proposed, if it can even go there, because there's the whole conservation review.
Right.
It's actually almost equidistant from the house on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, this was already circulated with conservation for
It
review
was,
and
okay.
comments.
Yep.
All right, so I motion to approve the special permit application for 71 Union Street Estate Lot, decision number 2024-06 as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, so
New business. We're done with public hearings.
We gotta go back.
Oh, we gotta go back to our 8 o'clock. I motion to reopen the 8 PM public hearing to discuss the proposed changes to the Norfolk zoning bylaws which have been submitted to the town warrant for 5/15/2024 annual town meeting to see if the town will vote to amend the Norfolk zoning bylaw 310 attachment 1 schedule of use regulations.
do I have a second on that? He wants to open it back up.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
So we have now reopened the 8 PM public hearing for zoning bylaws. I'll kind of get started with this, and then I'll let Rich fill in. So, went to advisory, and one of the comments they came back, and Gary was there too, one of the comments they came back was, so B4 and C5 are new. Well, where are those districts? And we're like, no, they're actually not new districts. They're just a new column. Like, well, that means they're a new district. I'm like, no, they're not. So the previously approved use table had B3/B4 as one column, and it had C3/C5 as one column and it was, I believe Bob wanted to split those apart. And so that's what we have in front of us is B4 and B3 are split apart, C3 and C5 are split apart, but it's my understanding those uses are exactly the same, right?
Those uses are exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So I personally am not in favor of that. I would leave it the way it was, because why create 2 extra columns if we don't need them? Those uses, we don't do it for the Rs. We have 1 R, right? But there's multiple R districts. It's just R. So let's leave them together until we need to pull them apart. And right now, there's no need to do that. And let's focus our time on the C1s.
So just the Bs, the B3 and B4 you're talking about?
The B3, B4,
No
and the
changes.
C3, C5 should be no changes, or should be no, according to this, there's a change because it shows all bold for B4 and C5, but really it's not. Because we just split them.
What was the reason why we split them originally? Was that AG recommended?
No, they were originally combined.
Oh, here.
Bob wanted them split. Bob Bullock. He said we need.
Yeah, he recommended splitting, and we
recommend. Yep.
And we actually did a lot of, so this version now that we have. All right, we're going a little bit back, but we are splitting C1, A, B, C, and D off highway.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the B3.
All right.
I just kind of wanted to
that's fine.
talk about the B3, B4, and the C3, C5, and kind of then finish that conversation before we get into the C1 on and off highway. But so Rich has a revised version on the screen that puts now. So Rich, those wouldn't need to be highlighted in yellow then.
No.
Right. No. So C1 or B3, B4 does not.
Well, let me clarify that the top does need to be the B3/4. That does need to be highlighted for a change.
Why? Because that's what that should be the existing that's in E-code now.
I'll show you why it is, but just bear with me a second here.
You said we were going to have an early night, Rich.
What's that?
You jinxed it before you came in.
There's no such thing, guys.
Why can't we just use R and not list all the Rs? Explain that there's multiple.
Because all the Rs are the same. I have all the same zoning requirements. So we just lump them all. You know, all the. That's why. That's
Maybe it needs an asterisk. This is there are.
See,
components to
another
this.
can of worms.
Oh, so you need to just I know.
That's how we got into trouble with the B on all these.
I know.
So just
actually give them their names.
I'm going to download it and then I'll show you why.
All right.
I know.
Why?
I've been asking myself that all day.
So we go to town meeting to ask for any change, if it's a typo, and we want to change a typo to spell it correctly.
Right.
We have to waste the time of every single resident that shows up, although there's only 35 of them, but we're wasting all of their time with typos instead of the important stuff in town. Can we?
No, otherwise you get to 1984. That's what we don't want.
What?
The words on the barn they changed from one day to the next without any consultation from the other animals on the farm?
It's very big brotherish if we can just go change the bylaws by.
Not change the bylaws.
Oh, okay.
If it's a typo.
It's
and
still changing the bylaws.
Right. It's a material change of the bylaw.
Unfortunately.
Change-
It's a material, yeah, you can't have that license.
Is there, to fix a typo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there's probably maybe 15 people in town that actually know that that's the case. So they probably show up to town meeting and they're like, I don't understand why you're even asking me this. So do we just give that heads up? And, you know, we're just,
I think we do, and
See, listen, in the Wayback Machine a long time ago, not too long ago, a few months ago, we said, hey, we just made this mistake. Can't we go just fix it? And we went to the AG and they said, nope.
Nope.
yeah.
This is what you showed.
This is what you showed.
This is what they voted on.
Yep.
You have to go back to that body to fix it.
Yep.
We asked that question many, many months ago. Unfortunately. I wish I could tell you.
Yeah.
it just seems, it's such a waste of time.
I
For-
understand.
Not even for us, we can go through it, but for everyone else in town, to sit through that.
That's where I was going.
Now,
Yeah.
Double speak.
No, I want to just focus in on why I said what I did, okay?
okay, yep.
So what I have on the screen is what was advertised for the public hearing.
Okay.
And the endless list of this whole stuff,
Right.
right? If you see, it says B3 dash B3 dash B-3.
B-3 and B-4, yes.
Yep.
Was
And then-
advertised as the public hearing, yes.
Yes. When in fact, what we did last year was B, which I just showed you.
B3 slash
Yeah.
B4, but not a dash.
Not a dash.
Right.
Let me go back to that stupid.
The dash was not there last
Dash wasn't there.
It was
So
just
It was a
B.
slash.
It was B3 slash B4, and now we're doing B-3, B-4.
Let me go back.
No,
Yeah.
put them into one column. You'd like to put them into one common column.
Well, I'm saying we should have just left them in one column.
So see that right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no dash in between.
Right, there's no dash from last year. So
Okay.
so that's why I'm just,
Okay.
I know it's
Okay.
nitpicky, but it's kind of.
No, you're right.
Melissa's point.
That's a typo.
Yeah, it's
we
a typo.
So it's
The
B
AG says.
3/4.
Then we comply.
Yeah, B and 3/4 and C and 3/5, yeah.
Yeah.
Or three. Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, there's another dash I gotta take out of there in the back. So, summation, that's why that's there. And I did run this by town council, just so you know.
Okay.
So, duplicating it and creating a separate B3, B4 is okay. Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And nothing wrong with the other. So, would keep it the way it was.
So I guess I'm just gonna,
Comments.
advisory thought we were creating new districts.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
wanted to see a
no,
new map.
not all-
And it,
yeah,
and it
some-
was
some
probably
people-
the way I said it when I presented it. And so I would need to explain it differently than I did to advisory. So it was really great. It was all of a sudden we were like, light bulb moment. No, we didn't create new districts. They were always there. We just split them apart on the, we just split the columns up. So
it was helpful.
That, yes, going to advisory was extremely helpful. We got really good feedback. And based on that, I was like, well, why are we pulling these apart? But I guess I'm looking for input from the board, because I will go either way. I'm on the fence.
Pull them apart. Simplifies it for the future.
Just in case
Because
something
to
changes.
that point, if we do need to change, that we're not adding more columns in the future.
Right.
Yep, okay.
Have a headache one time.
And it does,
Well,
like over
this is
in
our second time having this.
Right. Over in the Cs, it does kind of line them up a little better, because right now it's C3, C5, then you jump to C4, and then to
well-
C6. But
Sorry, now I'm going to repeat something that Rob said at advisory. The reason why we only have one R is because the differences in residential is more setback space.
It's dimensional.
it's dimensional
it's not
and,
use.
and not zoning,
Gotcha.
and not use, yep.
Right.
So yeah, I like I said, I'm on the fence. I go either way.
All right, so let me,
No. I'll go pull one tomorrow.
So we
All right,
have to.
I'm gonna bring back to the screen the other one just in a second here to just review it. Because there are a couple of, well, one in particular change was coffee shop. So let me get to that.
Oh, man.
So
Okay.
we did a little.
Let's keep it streamlined. We still got a lot. I feel like we got other things to talk about yet.
You having fun yet, Christian?
Oh yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Are you showing something, Rich, or you're
I'm gonna get it.
gathering it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gathering
the data.
Other than the column question, the main change looks like we're pulling the C1 off highway because that does not actually exist. Is
So
that
if we
correct?
so if we leave B3, B4, and C3, C5 as shown,
And can we put C3, C5, and C4, and C6 in the right order?
yes, we should definitely do that.
And make sure that that's not just a typo and that those actual uses actually line up.
Yep.
So that whole C1 off-highway column in its entirety goes away?
Yes.
Yes. So we had a C1 off-highway, and then we had a C1B and a C1D. So we had 3 columns. And then when Bob started using the table and people coming to him, he started seeing that there was concerns. And he's like, well, wait a second here. We really should have had 4 off-highways. And we should have never had this just C1 off-highway. It really should have been C1A, C1B, C1C, C1D. We didn't
went
do
too
that.
far.
We didn't go far enough. Yeah, we didn't go far enough. So we're like, all right, strike all the C1 off-highway because that should be broken into those 4 pieces.
Yes.
And that's what we did. So the C1 off-highway is actually a whole new column. The district was already always there. It's not a new district, it was always there. The C1B didn't previously say off-highway, and we needed to add the off-highway, and then there were a couple changes to some uses,
Right.
like
So now-
museums,
Now we're back.
open space.
Yeah, it looks like all of the changes were in, as far as the yes, nos, and, all of what's in the actual cell. It looks like they are all in that same column, right?
Yep,
For the
yep.
changes?
Yep.
And so, Rich, you're seeing what I'm saying? It goes C3, then C5, then C4. C5 and C4 need to switch.
Just make them alphabetical now.
Okay. Well,
Don't just change the
numerical?
headers.
Yeah, definitely don't change the
Yeah.
headers, then we're gonna have to go through this again.
Right.
Well, numeric, yeah.
Change the whole.
Move the whole,
Yeah, you want me to flip 4 and 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All the way down.
But
Yeah,
leave.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got it.
And unfortunately, it's not a spreadsheet, so.
No, it's actually, so through this whole exercise, it's been awesome because now I create a whole new table, and to do that change, it's gonna be,
Because it's a one table.
It's all one
with
table.
one header.
yeah.
So we'll do and then we'll also review it 10 times to make sure that it's not incorrect.
We're gonna do maybe 12 reviews, I think, probably the way this thing's going. All right.
So we're gonna leave the B4, we're done with that. We're gonna
Yep.
leave the B4 split from B3.
Yep.
It's not a new district.
Right. But I want to show you, I'm striking out B
3
and 3/4.
Yes.
That wasn't on the advertising.
That was not on the advertised.
That's a change.
We need to include the strikeout language, which wasn't there. Yep.
I don't know why the
And
thing-
just so you know, the reason it's yellow on the screen is we talked about having a colored handout
Yep.
at town meeting because it's very hard to see the bold and the strikeout without it. So we plan to have a zoning mapping color and then the color handout of the use table, all one packet handout at town meeting.
Correct.
That's gonna be a lot easier on the eyes, for
I
sure.
was gonna say, I can't tell.
I know,
those
right?
bolds in
Right.
here.
Without
Yeah.
the yellow, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so we'll have a handout. And by the way, and the other thing is this will be at the end of the warrant in landscape format. So it's not, we didn't compress it into portrait because it's,
Yes, it's the last article on the warrant, and because of
it's
that,
not
we
the
can.
last article, but it's being put in the warrant at the end so you can flip it when
can
you
flip
get to it
Yep.
and look at it in landscape.
Okay.
Because otherwise it makes it even harder to see
Okay.
what's going on.
It's good.
But I do want to, just to, so the other change was the coffee shop. I got a joke about that, but I'm not going to say it.
So what,
By who raised that point? Correct, I'm sorry. I'll tell you later.
okay.
Anyway.
I'm not sure what page that's on, but.
So it's on page 4.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right.
So coffee shop, didn't carry.
Yeah, coffee shops.
Yeah. What the heck? Oh, this is the thing that stinks. If I could download it, I can get the, let me see. It's not displaying.
The headers.
No, because it's in Google.
Well, and you can see food truck is a new use.
Yeah, so we did, but yes, we did. So that is a change, is to add food trucks to make them legitimize what's been going on in terms of food trucks townwide.
That sounds good.
And, yeah, okay, here we go. I think this might do it.
Food trucks and residential?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have a party and your food truck show up.
Oh.
Like a kid's party and food, I mean, it happens.
Oh, no, it does.
Yeah.
I thought that was already included.
No.
Oh.
No.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be
When
good.
food truck at Town Hill?
Yeah, food
Not
truck,
included.
you know, food truck at school for events, you
Oh.
know.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've been doing it and it's really
It's not what I was picturing. I was picturing a food truck like in a neighborhood, just like parked.
Oh.
No, but those areas are in residential district. So, all right, so this one's better if you go on the screen because I downloaded it into Word so you can see the district header on the top. So the propose is to change the no to a yes for coffee shops in the C1 on highway,
Okay.
since we already have one.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that was a catch.
Well, this is where, like we said, we put it into use.
Yeah.
It was a huge cleanup effort to get to where we got a year ago. And now we put it into use and now we're seeing, this is kind of like that version 2. We always knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
So.
But this is so much better than it was.
It really is.
Rich, the column that we delete completely, C1 off highway, is there a way to put a diagonal bar through all those so it's obvious that that whole column is just going away and it's easier to read on the eyes, that column goes away in here? So I get a problem because, so under food truck, now we're saying, yes, you can have a food truck in the C1.
That really just.
C1 off highway that we just killed.
That's right. Good point. It really should be a blank.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even
But that whole
be.
column, I'm saying we put a diagonal hash through every one of those cells so you know it's not even on the table anymore. That
And
column's gone.
If we can't do that for whatever
I don't know.
technical reason, can we highlight it a different color?
Well, maybe I'll speak to Tom Harrington about maybe in the text of the article itself is say that we're getting rid of that C1 on highway. So that way we could eliminate it maybe from the table. That diagonal is.
Something that makes it stand
But
out,
Eric
right?
brings up a good point. We should not have anything in that box.
Right.
If you're adding a new row on a column that you're deleting, that should be blank. Because there was nothing existing, and we don't want to add something back because we don't want the AG to go, oh, by the way, well, you said yes and that, and
now you're taking it
now
away.
you took it away. And
Talking about the off
food truck.
highway.
The food
Yep,
truck.
The food truck is a yes in the off highway, but it should just be blank because it's not there, and we don't want it there because that whole thing goes away. It shouldn't be a no because it wasn't existing. Follow me? Just to be blank.
So we don't need a C1 off highway column and all that?
Right.
No,
so that's why I want to put a big cross through the whole thing. It's
Because the
going away.
C1 off highway it's split into 4.
Right, but I'm saying like that one C1, this shouldn't even be existing then. This entire column should just go away because that didn't exist.
It really Yeah, it really kind of did.
So there's another problem on page 3 in the middle.
Previous E-codes, we got to remove it.
Hold on a second. Just wanna,
Right?
what were you saying over there?
I guess so. Let's just keep.
I think we answered it.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Yeah.
Figure it
He
out.
wants to make sure you're good.
We're good.
We got it.
There's been a lot of, yeah. pain.
Next.
A lot of pain on this.
No, yeah.
That should be the only blank
Alright.
cell.
No, there's another one here. Halfway down page 3,
Yep.
in the C1 off-highway column that we're deleting, there's a new yes. The use of portion of a dwelling or building accessory there too. Real long one in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
There shouldn't be any new text in the column that's being deleted.
That's right, middle of page 3, it's a really big row.
Which one?
So, almost right, go down with your cursor. No, go up with your cursor. Go down a little. Go down. Oh, you're going up. Oh, wait, go up, I'm sorry.
Which one?
Yeah, right there. That row, in the C1 off-highway, you shouldn't have a yes. You have strike through no, then yes below it, but, so it's the column just to the right of where you're.
Dwelling one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of those actually, right?
Well, you can't have any in that
No,
column.
just for the column that's C1 off-highway that we're removing.
And when we make a change to some of these, do we have to explain why we're changing it now?
Well, that's...
Why? Yeah.
So that'll be part of the discussion?
Yes.
That'll be, yeah, if the question comes up. Yep. So we need to be prepared to answer it.
Alright, so in the C1. Could answer it. You know why we're doing it?
I'm just looking for formatting things, so I didn't try to understand them yet, but...
It's a rhetorical question, kind of thing, so. The reason why we're doing it is we have to do it. The reason why we have to do it is because what we did last year, essentially, uses that should be a yes, by last year's change, made him a no. So we essentially
Had to,
had to undo in a way what we did because we didn't have separate A, B, C, D off-highway districts. Which probably tells me why they never tried to do this years ago to consolidate it because of the work that we've gone through the past 2 years.
yep.
We're gonna be the talk of all the towns though, once we get this figured out.
All the planning boards.
Yeah. Talk at the next planning board.
I think those were the only two.
Yeah, so food truck.
that
So
I saw, Eric.
We have a planning board.
In that column, yeah.
Of all the planning borders.
Yep.
I mean, this is bringing us to the path, the right path at the end, because we're cleaning up some things. For example, we're cleaning up the telecom one too,
Yep.
because there really is only one off-highway district before, so. Yeah, so your comment is around,
That's all I see.
yeah. Yeah, so the general comment is if we could just get rid of C1 off-highway since we're deleting it,
We're deleting the C1 off-highway because
yeah,
it's really comprises of 4 separate districts.
yeah. But Eric's talking about a different, diagonal line versus a,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know if we can do a diagonal, but we could, maybe, Melissa mentioned a different color, like, maybe
gray.
that's,
Gray out.
Yeah, like a gray out or something.
So are you talking about, Eric, for the warrant or a handout? Just I want to clarify.
Whatever we're looking at,
I think.
Because this will be on the warrant, but we also could have handouts. So this idea of this yellow highlighting area is just to kind of
just a handout,
focus people on terms of what's.
Yeah, for the handout. For the handout, I think you
make sure you
can
have
make a
legend
different
up.
color so that it's obvious. Hey, just ignore that whole column. We're done with it. It's
So
gone.
we definitely could do a different color for the handout because we're going to do it in color anyway because this is color. So do you want it different for the warrant?
So Chris brings up a good point. He said if we're going to do different colors, now we got to have a legend. Fair?
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
Should have a legend anyway.
We should have a legend anyway, but right now the legend is yellow equals changes.
Yep.
But we could expand on that, like.
Sorry, sir. What does the yellow mean? See, if it's not on the paper, you can say it all you want. I don't know.
I don't know. Right. So, I mean, we could have yellow for changes, red for remove, a green means we added the whole column, like B4 and C5.
This is all in the handout, right?
Yeah, in the handout.
Yeah.
You can't do it in the warrant.
Right.
The warrant's black and white.
Black
The
and
warrant is black and white, strike through or bold. That's all you can do in a warrant.
Right.
You can't,
Right.
it's strike through or bold.
And this is what we did for the original use case table, is we had big printouts that were clearer than,
But we didn't really go into color like we're trying to do now.
what's the next step? It's an
I know,
evolution.
yeah, make it better.
Well, the color would make it more, you could follow these. Right?
Yeah.
Rich, we had a C3/C5 before. Now they're two separate columns, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So on page 4, there's 2/3 way down, garaging of more than one commercial vehicle. Used to say SPZB. It's now changing to yes, and it's going to become a yes in C5.
Yeah, it's a change.
Yes.
Should it be a change in both of them? Or it's, we're treating C5 like it's a copy of C3, so I looked down the
Oh,
two
I
to
see what you're
say
saying.
the two should match, but they don't match right now.
Well,
Do we need to cross off, put SPZB and cross it off in there so that they look like
They should match. Yep.
they should match.
So, well, no, actually, they don't have to match.
No, they don't, but then Eric brings up a good point. At the top of page 4,
Yeah.
you have C5, you have a no with a strike through. That shouldn't even be there because it's a new column.
Where is this?
So.
No, it's matching C3.
I know, but if we're saying C, right here, C5 is this one, right? So C5, if it's a whole new column and it's a duplicate of there, should it really have the strike throughs? Because if you say, oh, I'm gonna have the no with the strike through, then you gotta have what you just mentioned down below as the yes with this strike through of the SPZB. They gotta match.
I think it should match the way
So
Eric. So for that
this-
garaging one, it probably should be SPZB strike through and then
Yes, I would say to be consistent.
Yeah.
They need to be identical, and they're close, but they're not.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm gonna just highlight this in different color for now, just like.
I think the neighbors of 71 Union would have really appreciated this conversation. I don't know why we put this into recess.
So, I don't know,
I was shocked.
I'm kind of leaning towards if the board's okay, it's like, the whole column we delete.
Yep.
We do it in red, and that might even go for rows too. If it's a whole row that gets deleted, make it red.
I think so.
Historically, red doesn't print well, just a heads up.
What if you did rows?
Perfect. Pinkish red, magenta.
Yeah. But I mean, trying to we could do all yellow, or we could try and
explain it away with a
make
key.
three, like if it's something's getting removed, it's a reddish color. If something's getting added as a whole new column or a whole new row, it's green. And a change is a yellow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that actually tracks pretty well with.
So a change, it's there, but it changed. So it's
Stoplight, yeah, stoplight.
It's stoplight, yeah.
And that's in the handout.
And that's in the handout.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the handout and the thing have to match.
Well, we kind of walked down the bad, or the tough path last year. We had these exhibits, and then, but we do have it in the warrant this year, so.
We're gonna have it in the.
We don't have this in the warrant. This is the.
Oh, that's in the warrant.
No, sorry, the coloring.
No, not, right.
Right, is just. so
Strike
that-
through and.
To add clarity to
Yeah.
those 23 people that show up to town meeting to
Yeah.
vote
Yep.
on the budget.
Hey, there's gonna be a lot of people there.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I got it.
Last spring meeting, I had to come in crutches. I was like
You did, that's right.
bedridden, and I made a big entrance because I was late, and I tripped on my own crutches, and the door slammed, and the crutches dropped, and the police officers were helping me to my chairs. Exactly how you picture a cool guy entering a room.
That was all about you.
vote yes.
Yeah, on the sign.
Rich,
That's why you can.
there's a
Signs, yeah, and you gave your
legend at
presentation.
the very last line, at the bottom of the table, and it says SPZBA. We don't use that acronym, we use SPZB.
Oh, good catch.
Which one was that?
So
The legend.
Yeah, SP, yeah.
at the end of the
bottom.
table is a little legend on what SPPB and SPZBA is.
Oh, gotcha.
But we, yeah.
Spibza and Spibba.
All right, so we're
Want to
gonna
go through it one more time?
Please,
Yeah,
No, I mean,
you lead.
no, I mean.
Line by line. Let's go.
Speaking more to Eric, because he's got that,
got a laser.
Well, if we could
he's got the eye
fix
for
these
it.
now.
Huh?
No, I that's all I see.
All right, okay.
Can we review this, and if we notice changes, can we send those, or does it have to be
Public hearing, yeah.
in the public? Yeah.
we really need to finalize this. At least finalize what the markups are gonna be so Rich can.
For the
Let's
warrant.
go through it
yeah.
again.
So we need to go through any markups, any revisions, close the public hearing.
Well, this one
then-
I'm just gonna.
That you should be able to just
I'm
change right now.
delete the A, because that's,
Right.
Wait. Oh, right. Wait, why can you just delete it? Because it's not part of the table, or?
no, because it was, well, I'll double, I can look back and let, I'm sure.
Uh-oh.
Can we just play it safe? Like, just. I don't.
No, I understand.
Yeah, the
What
AG
I'm saying
threw it
is-
back because the A back. The legend at the bottom was different.
Oh, yeah, you might have to, that might have to be a strike through.
It could be. I'll leave it, I'll leave it in blue. It could be a strike through.
Do remember, we are volunteers on this side.
Okay, I understand.
So.
And strike through an A is kind of hard to see regardless, basically, but.
Yeah, fair enough.
anyway.
So, color-wise, for the handout,
Yes.
a red rosy color, something will be a remove, a greenish color will be an add, and a yellow is a change.
Yep.
And then,
But what's the legend gonna read, right? Like, we should just, let's just get all this very clear. So green is,
Go.
an added, either,
New?
it's new.
okay, so green is new, and it would read as green dash new, or green
Yep.
equals
Green
new.
green highlight is new, yep.
Okay, and then,
But the problem is, though, is when you say B4 is new, it's not new. So if you were to highlight everything in B4 as new, it's,
so what is it? How would you describe,
Yeah.
like, let's just
Column
work through
broken.
this. Column broken?
Column broken for B3
How are you going to
quarters,
show
you
the
can
difference
B3 and
between
B4.
switching the C4 and C5 columns?
I was thinking of doing it in green, but it's not a new district. The district already exists, it's just we're breaking the column apart.
It's new to the table.
Well, here's the thing.
New to the table.
Can we do green
News
means
to
new
the
slash
table.
change?
No,
All yellow is too
Because
much.
yellow is
Because yellow is
change.
going to be change. and red was removed.
Green is new to the table. Does that apply everywhere that green is being used?
I like that word, new to the table, because then you're it's not a new district.
No, just
New to the
we
table.
didn't break it out previously.
Yep.
And what's yellow, just change?
Change.
Change.
And red is remove.
Red is remove.
So it could be a red remove row or a red remove column.
Right. Red remove row or column, it's a remove.
Mm-hmm. And then
Yellow's a change.
Is just, it's
And
a
green is new to the table.
new to the use table. New to the table. Perfect. Great. Look at
And,
that.
That's pretty darn good.
and then, so Rich, you're gonna, anything in B4 or C5 in those columns that also have a new row should be blank. And I think it was just 2 spots?
Yeah, food truck and.
Or it was food trucks?
There was another one.
It wasn't, yeah, it just shouldn't have any changes. Because there was a change on page 3 for use of a dwelling.
Yeah, but we can't leave blanks in the table is what we tried to do before.
But this is one of these weird,
No, I mean,
you have
No,
to,
it can have a value, but it has to be a different color to say we're just inputting a correct.
I would just leave it blank. Because,
Yeah, but then someone does this.
but you can't put it as a no with a strike through, because it never was a no. It didn't exist.
Right.
It was a null field.
so let's go back to food truck a moment there. So,
I'd love to.
food truck, you said I should not have it in the,
Sneaking up.
C1 off highway. Because you're removing that
the
whole,
one that we're getting rid of.
right.
Okay.
It just shouldn't exist in there.
Blank.
That's probably fine for that one, because we're getting rid of it. Right? I mean, it's not awesome, but
That whole column will be gone.
Well, but you currently have it as a yes with no strike through. So
Can we just use a
you can't even have that.
Just put a dash in it?
But
No, we'll never see this table again in the final version. The
I'll
approved
just-
one.
I'll talk to, I think I would just remove the yes, you know? Have it a
I would just
blank-
remove the yes and leave it
cell.
blank. It should
Yeah,
be,
it's a blank cell.
should be a blank cell. And then it was on page 3 was that other one that we talked about, where you changed it, but it shouldn't even be changed because you're just leaving it.
Yeah, which was the garaging.
Yep.
That's right below it. Couple down. 1, 2,
It was a couple
3.
up.
3.
Middle of
No,
page
it
3.
was middle of page 3. The food truck's on page 4.
Underneath single-family dwelling.
There was that big language text area on page 3.
Page 3?
Yep.
It was
have my-
the use
you can have my
of a
markups.
portion of a dwelling or a building accessory thereto by a resident, builder, carpenter, painter, plumber, or other artisan, or by a resident tree surgeon or landscape
okay.
gardener for incidental work and storage in connection with his off-premises occupation, subject to the same conditions and limitations as are specified above for home occupations.
Use of a portion of a dwelling, blah, 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 right? So that's, but it's a no, right?
Yes, it should just be no.
But it should just, you shouldn't have.
It should be crossed off. The whole
It should
column's
just
going
be,
away.
it should just be a no, and don't put a yes below it,
Yes, yes goes bye-bye.
because the whole column's going away.
Number 6, row 6,
It must be on a different one then.
column 6. Page 3,
Yeah.
and then the use of a portion, the last one that, go down one more?
Here, right?
There,
Yes.
yeah.
And so count 6.
Christian's got it.
Count 6 over. 1, 2,
Alright.
3, 4,
So
5,
there should be
6.
no
That
yes.
one. Yes.
No, the yes should be removed.
Yeah.
It should just, yes, go bye-bye.
The yes should be removed.
Okay. Gotcha.
Thank you.
And then the other one was the garage, we took care of garaging, because they're gonna make a duplicate.
Correct.
It's gonna go from SPZB to Yes.
Yep, and I think that was it.
SPZB with a cross off.
SPZB strikeout. then
Yeah, be a
yes.
strikeout, yep.
Yes, okay. And I think that was it.
I have a question on page 2, the very top side, that's one.
Yep.
The very top, it says the District 1 cross out. I don't know if you have it highlighted right there. I don't know if that's gonna matter. So I can tell.
In the text description box?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good catch.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Overlay district.
Eric, you get competition. This guy's.
I think we want the one,
Got
right?
some time on my hands over here.
It's crossed out twice in that same box.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it should be crossed out.
Okay.
It should be?
Because it should just say overlay district, not
So
one.
it needs to be crossed out but highlighted in.
Yep. It needs to be highlighted as a change. Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be yellow.
This is way better than last year, Christian. Just
Oh, yeah?
saying. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Better.
Yeah.
I didn't even know to look in that column.
Oh, don't look there.
We just unleashed Eric.
Now I'm going through it too.
Yeah.
Hey, it exists a couple of places. Oh no, that's the same place. Never mind.
No, I think that's the only one. I went through it a few times.
Well, there's,
Well, there are a few that were removed.
Yeah.
Did you have it where we're removing the whole?
Can't find the-
Yeah, but you're going to do that anyway.
yeah, so the one, I don't know why this is highlighted.
Where there is.
Oh, yeah, that.
I didn't get that
I
one.
don't know about this, but this one, yeah, go down. So that's going away, that one there.
Right.
We got that one, this one's going away completely.
Yeah, all I have is this one.
So you can highlight it red now.
Yeah.
Or rose or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Oh, one of these ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, see, red is tough.
That's terrible.
It's, yeah, so,
No. We talked about rose.
so,
That's a row.
Rose.
Rose.
Like a lighter red, like
pink.
one, like between pink
So the pink,
and
how about
magenta.
pink?
Champagne.
This?
Yeah.
Champagne, perfect. We might have to make it like.
You got to highlight it again. After you highlight it, you lose your selection.
All right, bring up the color wheel. What's the hex value for?
Why is it not?
Oh, hit escape and
Yes.
then highlight the cell.
You got to select it again, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's worse.
Maybe blue then?
Let's try like light blue.
You got to select the text again. Every time you, yeah, it's really annoying tool.
So this blue?
You got that somewhere else.
We do?
No. We haven't
Wait,
used-
I did see that at
Yeah,
the very
use that.
bottom.
I think that was where Rich was making a note
He
to
was
himself.
just, that was just notes for himself.
I could change
okay.
it.
So the red doesn't work so well, so maybe we just do yellow, green, blue? Is that going to mess with people that have?
How about just red font and not highlight?
We can only accommodate so much. We've
Actually,
got
that's a good point.
12 colors to
We
choose
could just,
from.
Red text.
we could do
Not
red
backgrounds.
text
Oh.
and a white background.
Get that letter A. You already highlighted.
Yeah, but you're highlight, so now you're going to highlight some and change text for something?
No. Wait, let's see what it looks like though, because if we're removing it and if it's in red text, could it be bolded just to be clear?
No, that looks new.
You can't bold it because bold is new,
No, green.
right?
Yeah, but in the
It's
word,
strike
bold
through,
is-
strike through is delete, bold is new.
That's
so-
red.
That's readable.
I mean, that's pretty clear, right? Can't we just say red text
We
equals
could.
remove?
Would you also
Because it-
highlight it then?
No,
or-
it's strike through and red.
Because the strike through with the red, I think, as long as it's in the legend,
Okay.
I think that's workable.
So strike through red is remove,
Yep.
So do that whole column right now too.
and then
Yes. Marquee.
highlighted green is add, and yellow is change.
I'm very old if I remember that tag.
1990s web design.
Geos.norfolk.com.
All right.
Red text.
There's the
So we have to be specific. Red text is removed, green highlight is add.
So we're doing text now, all right?
Yep.
Yeah, red text.
And yellow, it's add to table.
See this?
And yellow highlight.
GeoCities. So you can build your own GeoCities that way.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
I don't know.
See what it looks like. I think we could.
all right.
Okay, any other
That'd be it.
Want to
changes?
vote this table though, so the official, so that way I can get it on the warrant?
Well, we need to close the public hearing first,
Oh, yeah.
right? So any other comments, questions?
Yeah.
Please.
No? Okay. I'm
let me
seeing,
look
I'm
on
seeing
Zoom.
no from our participants in the room.
We have, Richard McCarthy on.
So nobody's on Zoom.
Actually, I just want to bring up the ethical considerations of making this sort of a judgment decision. I'm not sure if that's... No kidding, I'm fine, ready to go.
Great. Would you like to make a motion to close public hearing?
I make a motion to close the hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Wait, which hearing?
So we are...
Special use.
Public hearing to discuss proposed changes to the Norfolk zoning bylaws, which have been submitted to the warrant for the 5/15/2024 annual town meeting.
Do you, he amended that, do you second that amendment? To that
Second.
Okay. So we have a hearing that's...
Motion.
Motion on the floor to close. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Abstain.
Okay.
Really?
Motion is closed. So
You got quorum, you're good.
now we, all right.
Voting right.
I'm checking the meeting.
Yeah, you better check the meeting minutes. I was thinking the same thing. Okay,
Now on the change.
so now, looking for,
Recap the changes, right? So-
looking for a motion to adopt the use table as shown with a few changes where we're going to have red text for the portions of the table that are going to be removed. We're going to have yellow highlight for changes to the table. We will have green highlight for additions to the table.
Point of
New
information.
to the table.
Point of information.
Yes.
With a
we-
legend.
New to the table, yes.
Could you vote the warrant one and then the other one? Because these changes aren't going on.
Okay,
Right, no, this is exhibit
correct,
only.
I'm sorry, yes. So I retract that, so.
I don't know if point of
Look,
information is right.
it was just, yeah, we haven't made a motion yet, so looking for a motion to approve the article as shown for the warrant with strike through for remove and bold for new text.
Yeah. Which includes just, well, it's fine, it's showing there.
As shown, because
The B3, B, you know,
Yep,
and then the coffee shop, we changed coffee shop, you changed coffee shop.
yep,
Yeah, it's showing, it's fine.
as shown.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we made all the changes tonight,
Yeah,
so.
so,
yep.
all right.
Okay.
So can I get that motion?
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, so that's, motion's approved, so now it's really just discussing what the handout is, and I
Yeah.
think we've discussed that. We don't need to vote on that.
Yeah.
We've discussed the colors and how we're gonna handle
Yeah,
that.
if you don't like it, we can,
Right, it's really just for the handout, it's just for simplicity at town meeting.
yes.
Okay.
Clarity.
There you go, clarity. No, it's not really simplicity, it's clarity, because it's not simple.
The use table itself is the simplicity part of it. Our highlighting is clarity.
Yes, okay. Now we're on to new business, and it's 10:05. Okay,
All right. I can go pretty quick.
let's do it quick.
Yeah, so,
Yep.
I do need the board vote to approve the survey proposal from Precision Land Survey, Inc. to complete Shire Industrial Park. And then there's a second proposal from DeVille Zane, Inc. for the subdivision evaluation and modification. And just for your own information, as we go forward with Shire, the article in November town meeting was subject to your appropriation, so I had bills and all that. I'm gonna be running as we go forward, so.
Right.
So you're gonna have, which is fine, it's not a big deal, but
So this is all from the bond that we pulled on it?
this is all from the bond.
All right, and what was our starting point on the bond?
272.
72.
So 272, the first one is for the survey.
Yes.
The survey is going to be for two zones, and one was 18,550 and the other is 8,500, so a total of
So
2750.
Second thing is
I-
59,000.
And then the second one, so what is the second one doing? I understand what this boundary survey is for the first one. The second
Yeah,
one
so the
is...
second one is evaluation of the subdivision itself in terms of compliance, where's deviations from the approved plan versus the, what's constructed on the ground, and then the modifications. So so we know that, most likely, we're gonna need to make some changes to it, some of the requirements in terms of finishing it from a budgetary standpoint. But we're also gonna need to address the cul-de-sac at the end of Shire. Because the cul-de-sac right now is a temporary.
Yep.
It's there by easement. So we're gonna need to make a change to that as
That's
well.
expensive.
Yeah, that leaves us with 185.5.
Yeah.
There's a spelling error on the phases of Dezane's second one. Not that it really matters, but since we're just on the topic of nitpicking words right now.
Oh, conditions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that D's a little funky on number 3.
And I will say we're probably gonna need,
Probably charge us an extra $1,000 to fix it.
we're probably gonna need to come up as, as part of the engineering evaluation as a maintenance plan, O&M for that subdivision too.
So they're doing the boundary survey, what are they providing as a deliverable on that? Or is that part of the second piece? So they're doing the survey and then are they delivering it? Are they delivering anything to us, or
They're preparing the existing conditions plan.
The survey company?
Yeah, the survey.
They're doing the survey work for, the village.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So the survey company's not necessarily providing a deliverable directly to us?
No.
Gotcha.
Their work is feeding the secondary.
It's feeding into Deville Zane. Yep.
All right, so we got a project manager at $120 an hour. That's nice. Expert witness. Can we use our own expert witness?
Sure.
I mean, would it make sense for us to use, God, what's the name?
Our town council, you mean? Or you mean, Beta?
Beta,
Phil?
yeah. Wouldn't it make more sense for us to use Beta?
That's probably just their standard, this is probably their standard schedule of fees. I doubt there would be an expert
I don't know if we
witness
need
on
an
this.
expert witness.
I doubt we'd need an
Okay.
expert witness for the project, but
Oh, you're down into, yeah, I got you, okay.
Well, I mean,
He's on
they're
the
calling
first
out
page, the
2-person
fees
for a
and
survey
schedules.
crew, they're
Yep.
talking
Are you on Deville Zane or you're on the other one right now?
Zane, yeah.
Zane. That's just kind of their standard schedule of fees and rates.
Well, you're gonna be in control of this in a way, so you can.
So are these on, they're saying, is this a lump sum project? Or is this a not to exceed? I mean, are they?
No,
I mean, it just,
number
does it say
two,
that?
number two, due to the uncertain nature of the scope, we may, if the work effort is more extensive, need to adjust the fee if services required are in excess of the initial allocation. Client will be notified in writing when adjustment is required and authorization to proceed will be requested. So that's our starting point, right here, section 2.
Under meeting, okay.
Put it on the meetings?
Yeah, and then so,
Well, we have somewhat control of that in terms of that aspect of it, but.
and then do we have any concerns with the payment schedule? They want payments within 10 days of receipt.
I'll have them, they'll have to,
I mean, isn't
I'll have them
government,
revise it, because
isn't that 30 typically, right?
yeah, and you have to sign off on it, so, I mean,
I
depends on your cycle, you know?
I prefer net 45 just to be safe.
Yeah. I could speak to them about changing the, he does know that I did tell Jim that, you know, you will have to approve payment, so.
Yep.
It's gonna go to the board, so.
Yeah. Net 45 then, please.
Okay.
It's just weird how it just says compensation for services. Basic service would be compensated as follows, and it's just a flat rate.
Right.
But it doesn't specify.
Who's doing what and for how long?
But, right, but that's fine. I mean, but it doesn't specify that this is a, I mean, it really, I guess my point is, it is definitely it's a lump sum project. Now, it would be nice to see language that we expect to see a month, you know, with that monthly invoice, a breakdown of who's working on it what their rate code is. Because there's no language in there that says that right now. At least that I see. And then it just says additional services, if they exceed what's up above, you know.
Right. If they exceed it, they should be able to show us.
Yeah, I
Where the money
think
went.
whatever they're gonna, I could speak to them about that in terms of what they're gonna be billing against it. They should have, you know, it's gotta be, they can provide us the breakdown, you know, in terms of who and what.
Right.
To that number.
So and then they're charging us extra for mileage and plotting and postage
Not to
and travel.
mention long distance telephone calls and telegrams.
I missed that one.
Yeah, don't forget the telegrams on that. Oh my God, really? That's under reimbursable
And they're
expenses.
marking it up,
Yeah.
15%.
I guess they're gonna,
So scope of services, we get the review of existing conditions survey and report.
yeah.
Then we have meetings with them to discuss the review.
Yep.
And then we have a definitive subdivision modification, which they will be doing for us. So that's the CAD drafting kind of fee that we're looking at. So that's gonna have coordination with the town and lot owners, meeting with the planning board, preparation of lotting plan, showing new configuration for reference at town meeting and planning board purposes. Form A.
Has DPW looked at this?
I did, yeah.
What, did they have comments?
They didn't, they were fine with it.
Okay.
In terms of the comments.
I mean, besides what Chris mentioned, I don't have any other comments.
I'd like to understand what their typical billing is for these reimbursable expenses for basic services.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine, yeah.
And
Right now, typical, yeah.
I'd like to understand that with regards to percentage of the overall cost of the project. So typically what ends up happening is these types of projects have a percentage that they would typically expect overage from a reimbursable perspective. It's either like 3 to 8%, somewhere in there. So I'd just like to understand where they're falling.
That's fair. Ask them that, yeah. Yeah, because they're in Foxborough, so it's not exactly,
Long distance, right, but they might have an expert that needs to be contacted, he lives in Wyoming, and if he's coming to site, then we're on the hook for the flight, we're on the hook for his Uber from the airport, we're on the hook for his lodging, we're on the hook for all of his cell phone usage and so on, and any telegrams.
Right.
All telegrams.
Smoke signals, too.
Right.
Carrier pigeon.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Fees.
All right. So, any other discussion on this before we vote?
I'd like to know where to send a telegram.
I'm sure there's got to be someplace still on this earth where you can send and receive a telegram.
I love the fact that they included that. That's
okay. All right, so unless there's any other further discussion, Rich, you're looking for us to vote on
the authorization of both, because there's about an 8-week lead time on that survey.
I think it's really just one vote because they're intertwined.
Yeah, there's some more defined terms.
But it's also
payment.
pursuant to those additional requests we made, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to, in terms of roll the ball forward, you could just vote on the survey if you want for now. I can get the answers on the other one.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because,
let's do that.
Yeah.
So,
that one's more critical to get moving.
I'd like to entertain a motion to move forward with the survey quote from Precision Land Surveying, Inc. in the amount of $27,050 for both Exhibit A and Exhibit B areas.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay. And then we will defer on the other one until we get those answers.
Get the answer to those questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ariana Lane?
So, that won't be on for the May town meeting warrant. I've notified Tony DiMartino, who's the developer. We're gonna work on doing the paperwork to do it for November, but
Okay.
there's not enough time.
Sold.
Done?
No.
Okay. Town planner updates?
I already talked about town meeting.
Yep.
We did touch on a little bit the inclusionary bylaw for the fall. As you know, we're probably gonna, one of the things that will be under consideration for the fall is be a busy fall, is looking at the zoning for Southwood.
Yep.
And then there may be consideration in terms of, town center, in terms of the B1, the split, that residential, commercial.
Yeah.
Split.
Okay.
It could be something else. Those are the things that pop up.
And Southwood's working on putting something together to bring to us, I forget, when was that? This summer? Fall?
Yeah.
Early fall, I think? Okay.
Yeah, and with Southwood, is to have a kind of a follow-up to the grant planning, to do that maybe, probably after town meeting at this point, right? So before summer kicks off, but just to get it out there, so the goal will be to work on something for the fall.
Okay.
Okay.
And then master plan, our next meeting is next month, right?
Yeah,
I think we got one.
The 9th, or
No. Today's the 9th.
Yeah, no, May 9th.
May 9th.
May 9th?
Next, it's the 14th?
No, not April 14th.
Yeah, we were taking a little bit of time so that we could start reviewing the things that Josh is sending over.
Yeah.
FYI, Josh just sent some chapters over.
Yeah, he just sent something, right?
Today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Oh. So June 5th is good for the what's that
The-
called it?
Farmer's market?
It's
Well, yeah,
not- it's
farmer's
not a wor-
market, but more of the
The community.
community meeting.
Yep.
In terms of, so the farmer's market has, pizza
Okay.
coming.
That's a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday with a P. I'm trying to think.
The
what
fire
P-
grilled
Papalia-
pizza.
Papalia?
a pil- something with a P.
Yeah, they've had it before.
Yeah,
Good.
the pizza. I did get the name, so in terms of the alcohol, potential alcohol, it is much, probably a little bit more involved in that. Because it would need a one-day license, not saying it can't be done, but the realistic path would be to see if, and I have the guys, the vendor, to contact, but that they would get the one-day license, not the planning board, because you need to provide liability insurance.
Right.
Right.
So they would apply for the license. But I gotta see on in terms of we don't have you basically would have to do it in terms of, we don't have money to pay him. You know, this is, people go and they buy beer, basically. We're not, some of the other vendors are like, yeah, there's so much to have them show up for, X per person, right?
Right.
So you're paying for that?
Yes.
This isn't that situation here. This would be,
He comes, makes money.
yeah, he comes and makes money if he, yeah.
Isn't that how all the town hill events, like select board's not paying to have food trucks up there?
The, all events would like, there's, even those, depends which ones, like
Maybe they are, I just didn't know.
Wouldn't a food truck pay for a permit to be there, or no? They
that's
wouldn't need to, right? They would pay to be there.
They
They're
would want
going
to
make money, yeah.
So the if you're hiring the food truck, I think you're gonna have to pay for it.
If it's a private event, but how do we get like Cousin's Maine Lobster
Yeah, that's
to
what I'm
come to
saying. I
that?
think they like want that space and they,
Yeah, they want it.
so.
Yeah. I mean, we might be able to get other ones. I'm just on the food truck, but the idea is that they want to do it, they want to come, and they're going to get business from it.
Right.
We're not paying them
Right.
to be there.
Right.
Similar with the alcohol thing, like, they've got to want to come and want to be it.
Okay.
But there is a cost associated with it, so I don't know if they want to underwrite that, in terms of, there is a liability that needs to be, there's a dollar amount, I don't know what that amount is, but, so those are some of just the,
Okay.
What time is that on the 5th?
it's gonna be 3 to 7, so it's gonna coincide with the farmer's market.
Okay.
And
The alcohol's a little bit trickier, just honestly, because you gotta like, you can't be like bringing a beer into the library, I mean, you gotta like, it's,
Red Solo cups. Sorry.
There are signs in the library that. say
Kidding,
no
I'm
alcohol.
kidding. But yes.
no, we're like walking around on the
No, we can't be
library
doing
property.
that. Yeah, no.
What are we calling this thing?
It is, it was a community event, I think?
Yeah,
Master
community-
Plan Community Forum
Yes.
at Farmers Market.
Yes.
That's what I think Josh called it.
Yeah, I like open house, but anyway.
We also have a meeting on May 8th at 7. Yeah, Zoom. May 8th at 7. Wednesday, May 8th at 7 on Zoom.
Yeah, that was to prepare for the event, right?
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. And, well, it's prepare for the event and also follow up with him on all the documents he's been sending and
I don't have that one in my calendar.
I don't think there was anything in April.
No, you took a break in April.
Yeah, because like Chris said, he's just sending us stuff, we need to review it, send it back with our
So
comments.
May 8th at 7?
Who is this? Who's sending?
Josh Fiola.
For the master plan.
So he works for MAPC, which we hired to help us with the master plan.
Oh, but you're probably not on those emails.
Well, I asked Rich like a week or two ago to get you on there, but yeah, if one of you could start forwarding them to.
I've got no emails from anybody.
Okay.
Gary's on it.
Gary will loop you in. There's several, so.
Do you have a town email yet?
Yeah. C.
Chad, is there a,
Found it.
or did we just adopt it?
Well, I think we have to get the town to accept
No, is there a town level vote of it?
No, just the planning board.
No, just us. Sweet. Wow. All right, Rich, anything else? So next meeting is the 14th, but really, we have a master plan meeting on the 8th, and then our regular meeting on the 14th.
Yeah, not too bad. It's only
And then-
25 after 9.
Yeah.
August.
25 after
I'm gonna
10.
be remote. Telling you now.
Okay.
I do have signature.
August, I'm gonna be remote. Telling you now.
All right.
August?
August, I'm gonna be remote.
Okay.
All right.
You know what? I'm gonna be remote too. I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We do have.
All right.
Calling it.
I do have originals for you to sign before.
Okay, but do you have any?
No, I'm done.
All right.
Close.
We're good?
Done.
So,
Motion to adjourn.
do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Hearing nothing, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.